Hello, my little ninjas. My name's Mike. This is my YouTube page, Mox News, and welcome to your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. I'm your host, Moxy. I have a bunch of videos for you today. And I have an interesting clip from Arnold Schwarzenegger where he says, "Screw your freedom." We'll get to that. I find it very telling. So, I also have a video about Israel being told they need to declare how many nuclear weapons they have, which I think is pretty important, and I couldn't find anywhere except for on the Israeli news. And on the Israeli news, it only played once in one half-an-hour segment, and that half-an-hour segment had video issues. So, and I looked at like 8 more hours of Israeli news and couldn't find it anywhere. So that's kind of telling too. Let's see. Kids going back to school. Now, somebody the other day, I think it might have been Brandon, but I'm not sure who. They're talking about a cartoon in which the little girl's on her way to school, and she's like all nervous because she's gonna meet friends, and she's gonna make new friends. She doesn't know what's gonna happen, and I don't know. I don't actually know the cartoon, so I can't tell you about it. But imagine if your son or daughter was on their way back to school, first time in 2 years, or their first time ever, and there's all this, "Oh, we're gonna die, the plague, oh, we're gonna die," and you gotta wear a face mask and all this. Can you imagine the stress? I mean, already they're like, "Oh, I'm going back to school, I'm so nervous," right? I mean, that's how kids are. Like, "Oh no, I'm going back to school." And everybody's like, "Oh yeah, kids can't wait to get back in." What about, the kids that are smart enough to go, "This looks like a major super spreader event to me, and I don't want to be involved in that." How much stress does that cause them? I mean, if you have a kindergartner, they might not be thinking about that, right? At the same time, you have these kids and they're going and they're having to wear face masks. What's next? Rubber gloves, protection suits. I mean, it's if it's safe, why would they be doing this? If it's safe, why are you so concerned about making sure that it's safe? Because I don't think that they're doing a very good job of that. And if it's not safe, why are you sending kids back to school? Oh, because kids need to be around other kids. Fuck that. They don't need to go to school, be trapped in a little tiny classroom, in order to socialize with other kids. Okay? There's lots of other kids around the neighborhood. Go to their friends. Go introduce yourselves to neighbors. Oh my God, I know all my neighbors. I introduce myself every day, because I want to live in a friendly neighborhood. I want to know my neighbors. I want to, say hi to my neighbors. I see so many people I say hi to, and they just kind of look away. I'm like, "Are you new to this neighborhood?" Or because this is a very friendly neighborhood where people say hi to each other. I have a lot to do with that, and I'm going to keep saying hi to you until you fucking get with the program. That's just me. Okay, where were we, people? Right, first day of school. I cannot imagine what the first day of school must be like now, because it looks like, besides being this thing where you're nervous and you're going to meet all these people and you don't know what's going to happen, and, imagine the kids who got bullied before, right? So you're nervous, you're full of anxiety, going to go to school, and then on top of it, you have all these people. Your parents are going crazy about whether or not it's safe for you to go to school. If you don't know whether or not it's safe to go to school, what the fuck are you doing sending your children to school? Okay? This is the part I don't get. Okay? I've never wanted to have children. Not for 1 second. Never. Because of this exact thing. I don't want to worry 24 hours a day. I don't want to have this other priority in my life besides me living my life. So but having this priority, saying this is the most important thing to me in the world, and I can't imagine having children unless you believe this is going to be the most important thing to me in the world, you know. So if it's the most important thing to you in the world, then you have to keep it safe. You're in charge of keeping it safe. It's all about you keeping it safe, not like stifling its creative abilities, not like stifling, you know, he, she's, they, whatever. You're not there to stifle. You're there to keep them safe, to help them learn, to help them find out things. If they're not safe in school, if they're full of anxiety, over the top, more than you can possibly imagine, they're not going to learn anything in school anyways, are they? I mean, I had a very difficult time learning anything in school. I couldn't stop thinking about pussy. But that's just me. I mean, just me. And also keeping a smile on my face and having a good time. I was always about, you know, like I said, the reason I do the things I do publicly is never been about somehow me, you know, benefiting me, you know, me making sure that I have my share, you know. It's never ever been about that. It's always been about what can I do? What do I know how to do? How can I make, you know, how can I make a little difference? And for me, really and truly, a big part of it was that if I can put a smile on someone's face, you know, then I'm doing something right, because people are so broken these days, you know, and if you can get them to smile, that's the first step in the healing process. That says, yes, I have the potential to heal. So, you know, that being said, right, where was I going with this? Smile. Right. So you know, when I was in school, you know, a big part of it was me trying to make people smile and laugh and have fun too. But I just want to understand. You know, I don't get it. I don't know what it's like to have kids. I don't know. I don't want to know. I just, if this is at all dangerous, sending your kids to school, which maybe it's always dangerous. Letting your kids go anywhere, letting your kids leave the house is dangerous. I don't know. Maybe you get used to it. If there's the potentiality that they could catch a terrible virus, how does that make sense? You know? I mean, they're saying that there's long-lasting effects of the virus. They're saying all these horrible things, right? So why would you take that chance? I don't understand. Get your face diapers. That's right. Oh, Craig is posting stuff about face diapers. Face diapers. I don't know. I didn't post that, so. But he made a pretty cool face diaper. If you want to look like my cock, here you go. I can't make them fit. They don't fit on me right. Craig's gonna have to model it. Craig, you have to model it. I can't do it. And it looks pretty funny on Craig, actually. It's pretty hilarious. So I was really surprised how good that one turned out. Let's see if I can get it to look at all right. Let's see, like this, like this. No, I can't make it work. Craig will have to do it for you. So if you want some face diapers, Craig's got a few designs. He's got a Mox News design too. I don't know where it went, but is that the Mox News one? Oh, he's got a Guy Fawkes design. Let's see, where's the Mox News one? Mox News. Got a Mox News one around here. Oh, this one's pretty cool. Mox News with the. I like that one. Knowledge is free, people. Which is the second motto of Mox News. The first being unfair and biased, because and lots of people haven't gotten that for a long time. It was really weird when I first started using the catchphrase unfair and biased. It means I always felt like it's really not possible not to be biased in some way, you know, because inside of you, you can say that I'm not expressing any bias. It's as a journalist, I think it's almost impossible to not have some kind of bias. So, by me telling you right up front, I'm not going to be fair to the war criminals. I'm not going to act like there's some other side of the story to going to war in Iraq based on lies, killing 1 million innocent people. I'm not going to act. I'm going to be very unfair about that, because the people who made that happen don't deserve to be treated fairly in any way, shape, or form. So, unfair and biased. Okay? By saying that I am biased, I think that makes me more honest than any other news station, right? These people, they have this, oh, unbiased, fair, and balanced. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not fair. You're not balanced. You're full of shit, okay? Mox News, on the other hand, is unfair and biased, and I'm the first to say so. And that makes Mox News more trustable and more honest than any other news service that has ever existed. I'm just saying. Okay, so where were we? Let's see. Okay, so let's do the Arnold Schwarzenegger clip. Where's the Arnold Schwarzenegger clip? I want to do this because I want to talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger really quickly, because this is part of the dialogue today. Also, it's Dabs for Donations Friday. If you kick down a little something something for Mox News, I will do a dab in your honor. A big fat bong hit coming your way, bud. Where the fuck is my Arnold Schwarzenegger clip? I don't see it. How come I don't see it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Now, Arnold Schwarzenegger talking about freedom, okay? Not his freedom, not our freedom, your freedom. And I'll be right back in 30 seconds to discuss your freedom.
Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom.
Okay, so I want to be clear. Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't saying screw my freedom, screw our freedom. He's saying screw your freedom. And this is something that always bothers me. When a billionaire who would never screw his freedom, he doesn't have to worry about his freedom being screwed. And by the way, in case some of you are new today, the word screw means fuck. Okay, so fuck your freedom. That's what Arnold Schwarzenegger is saying. He's not saying fuck our freedom. He's not saying fuck my freedom. He's saying fuck your freedom. Should we listen to it again? Fuck your freedom.
Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom.
Fuck your freedom. And again, when billionaires say things like this, oh, we have to think beyond ourselves. There is no way on the planet Arnold Schwarzenegger is thinking about anybody but himself and his family. Everybody else, him and his. That's it. You know, he knows that they're not going to lose their freedom for a second. He knows that their freedom is solid. But your freedom, screw that. Fuck your freedom. Fuck your freedom. I don't give a shit about your freedom. And this is the direction things are headed, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger is a goddamn immigrant, okay? If he doesn't want to fight for our freedom, he can go back to where he fucking came from and never to be heard from again. I'm good with that, okay? Fuck you. Act like a fucking American or go somewhere else, you piece of shit. I don't like this, you know, where people are like, screw your freedom. Because again, he's not talking about his freedom. He's talking about you, your family, you know, your friends. Your freedom doesn't matter. How much more clearly can I put it than fuck your freedom? That's who Arnold Schwarzenegger apparently is. And I don't care what the excuse is that he's using to say fuck your freedom. That's a threat. That's a threat. That's saying Arnold Schwarzenegger, again, he knows his freedom isn't threatened or will ever be threatened. Okay? Never will he, because he's sitting on a pile of $1 billion. Okay? So nobody's gonna fuck with my freedom, but all you people, fuck your freedom. I don't like this. It bothers me a lot. I hope that everybody never pays attention to a single thing Arnold Schwarzenegger ever does for the rest of his life, because number one, he's anti-American, and number two, he's anti-you. Screw your freedom. Fuck your freedom. Fuck you. That's what Arnold Schwarzenegger is saying. Fuck you. Fuck your freedom of choice. Fuck your freedom altogether. And again, this comes back to this slippery slope thing, right? If you don't care about freedom now, are you going to be able to care about freedom when it matters? Are you going to care about freedom? And when does it not matter? That's really the truth. When is it that your freedom just doesn't matter anymore? Because I'm pretty sure Arnold Schwarzenegger can explain to you when your freedom doesn't matter anymore. Now, I'd like him to explain to me when his freedom doesn't matter, especially he came from some kind of oppressive country. Where the fuck he come from? Hungary? Right? They don't have fucking freedom there. They don't cherish freedom. They don't hold it up as like the highest ideal in the land. Okay, Arnold Schwarzenegger took our highest ideal in this country and said, fuck that. A goddamn immigrant. Not that I have a problem with immigrants. Don't get me wrong. I love everyone. Except for goddamn immigrants saying, fuck your freedom. Okay? Which is who Arnold Schwarzenegger is and what he did. Okay? So you don't like it, go back to your own goddamn country. You can't prioritize freedom, especially our freedom, everybody else's freedom. I've told you all again and again. Freedom's not about me. Okay? Because I'm going to live my life in as free as manner as possible, regardless of what the rules are. And I always have. Freedom is about everyone. Freedom is about all of us. Freedom is about that person's freedom is being oppressed, and we all need to rally around them instead of going, ooh, you're one of those? Yeah, oppressive freedom. I don't give a fuck. Instead of being that, we need to rally around, because again, freedom is the highest ideal in this country. We need to rally around that person. We need to support that person. We need to say, regardless of what anything else, that person has the right to freedom. That's like a birthright in this country. Okay? Now, in other countries, I still say it's a birthright because it's like, in the Constitution, right, it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights. We hold these truths to be self-evident. It's not that we're giving you freedom, it's that you're born with freedom. The inalienable right to the pursuit of happiness and freedom. You don't even have to pursue freedom. It's who we are. It's your birthright. And people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I despise this. Not that I had a lot of respect for Arnold Schwarzenegger before this, but I absolutely despise things like this. Who the fuck does Arnold Schwarzenegger think he is?
Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom.
Hello?
Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom.
Okay. You know, how would Arnold Schwarzenegger feel about people saying that to him? You know, again, he doesn't have to worry about this. He's a billionaire. No one's ever going to take his freedom from him. It doesn't work that way in this country. So, and he's not saying screw our freedom. He's saying screw your freedom. So, I think again, it's very important. I'm sure we'll come back to this sometime in the future. That being said, I have other videos. I'll play other videos for you. Is Dabs for Donations Friday. If you want to give a donation, it's easy to do. There's clickable links in the text body of this video, and it will be my honor to do a dab in your name. In your honor. It will be my honor to do a dab in your honor. Big fat bong hit in your honor. On Dabs for Donation Friday. How much more free can you be? How much more freedom can you share? How much, you know, and that's the thing. I mean, I talk about freedom a lot. I express freedom in my life a lot. I really feel like there's way more people than we would ever guess that are out there saying, fuck your freedom. I mean, I've dealt with a lot of these people for a long time. Fuck your freedom, fuck your freedom. Trust me, long time before there was a YouTube page or anybody ever thought of a YouTube page, which isn't true. But, you know, back in the late 90s, you know, I was a major freedom fighter. I have been until now. It is the ideal, right? It is something I encourage you constantly to do as much as possible. Just the last show that we did on Wednesday night, I was talking about the only way for you to reach your true potential is for you to live your life as freely as possible. That way, you're making up your decisions on what's best for you, as opposed to some asshole like Arnold Schwarzenegger saying, fuck your freedom. Fuck your freedom. Fuck your freedom. Who the fuck you think you are? You think you're free to go and make up your own mind? You think you're free to do what you want with your life? Fuck your freedom. And truly and honestly, that is the way I see the United States now. And a big part of why I encourage freedom so much is because I think it's dwindling. And again, this is not just a gift. This is a birthright. And it's not just a birthright. It's the only way that you become, you know, that you live out to your full potential. You become who you are really meant to be by living your life the way you see fit. And people who try and limit your freedom, people who try and take away your freedom, they are doing everything in their power to not just suppress you, but suppress our entire race, you know, the human species. They don't want us to evolve. This is who Arnold Schwarzenegger is. He made his pile of money. Now what he wants is to keep you stupid, to take away your freedom, to make up your own mind. He wants you stupid so that you'll look to him and think that he's great. Arnold Schwarzenegger's great. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a piece of garbage who thinks your freedom is valueless. In case you don't know.
Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom. Screw your freedom.
Alright, so that being said, screw your freedom. I'm going to go ahead and play a video clip so that I can warm up my my bong and take a big fat bong rip, because it's that time, boys and girls, and I've been waiting all day for this. I have not had a single bong hit all day long. So, screw your freedom. My goddamn freedom. I will fucking use it the way I decide. And the way I decide to use it now is a big fat bong hit. So, let's see. Kids back to school. We were talking about kids going back to school. Should we play that video now? Let's see. Let's see. Let's talk about the white population dwindling. Should we talk about that? Yeah, let's talk about the white population dwindling for just a minute. And, and we'll go from there. Because I think this is going to be a very, very, very interesting discussion. So keep your ears open and know that we will talk a great deal more about this subject if we don't talk about it more today. I'll be right back and we'll have a big fat puff. Okay? Stay tuned. Be right back.
Numbers that will impact the entire country released today. The 2020 census is out, and it shows what most Americans know and some Americans fear, quite frankly. The country is changing a lot. The white population in the U.S. shrinking for the first time in the country's history, declining 8.6% from 2010, down to just 57.8%. So joining me now to discuss CNN political commentators Bakari Sellers and Ana Navarro. Good evening to both of you. Thanks for joining. Bakari, there's been a resurgence of this extreme white nationalist conspiracy that there is an attempt to replace white Americans. Remember this from Charlottesville?
Jews will not replace us! Jews will not replace us! Jews will not replace us!
Nazis and white supremacists in Charlottesville saying Jews will not replace us. Do you think these new numbers only reinforce our sense of being under attack?
No question about it. I mean, you look at that, you look at Charlottesville, and you look at what happened January 6th. I mean, what you're seeing now is the browning of America bringing out a lot of the true colors of this country. Whether or not it's the anti-Semitic rhetoric that you just played, whether or not it's the racism or the xenophobia. I mean, look at this panel. It's Bakari Sellers, Don Lemon, and Ana Navarro. Right now, Stephen Miller and Donald Trump are at Mar-a-Lago, and they're throwing up because this is not the America they want to see. And so I actually go as far as saying that a lot of the things that we see going on politically, especially when it comes to voting rights throughout the country, are not because of the 2020 election. It's because of this census. And what we knew is that there's no such thing as economic anxiety. The media did a disservice calling it that. It's cultural anxiety. And there are people who feel as if they're being replaced. It's not true, but that's how they feel. And they're showing out with their violence. They're showing out with their anti-Semitism. They're showing out with their racism, xenophobia, and bigotry. But we're just peeling the Band-Aid off who we really are, Don.
And they're showing out really in some, especially some conservative places in media. I want you to look at this whole, Anna, this whole replacement idea. It's not just at the white nationalist rally. It's found at Willing Home. Where else? On the Fox propaganda network. Take a listen to this.
The Democratic Party is trying to replace the current electorate, the voters now casting ballots, with new people, more obedient voters from the third world. Demographic change is the key to the Democratic Party's political ambitions. In order to win and maintain power, Democrats plan to change the population of the country. This is the administration bringing felons, violent criminals, into our country on purpose. Why would you do something like that? What they're doing is bringing in people they think will vote for them.
I mean, obviously this is absurd and dangerous, but still it resonates with many Americans, Anna. How do you push back on that?
By voting, by showing up, by registering to vote. Listen, some of the numbers I saw today are really encouraging when it comes to raw numbers, right? There's almost 20% of the population is Latino, 18.2. But those numbers don't mean as much if the black and brown communities, if minority communities don't show up and flex that political muscle. Having the numbers does not mean as much. And so I think we need to be very aware of the forces in this country that are trying to divide us, that are trying to keep us down, that are trying to build fear around us, that are trying to demonize us, that are trying to portray us as other than, as if we don't belong. And, it's people who forget what this country was founded on and who was here when folks came. This is, America is what we see reflected in this census. What I'm very concerned about, though, Don, is the gerrymandering and the redistricting, yes. Because the numbers are one thing, But then how does that translate into political power? And the folks that are in charge of legislatures are very savvy and very good at drawing districts that are not reflective of America.
Well, you both got it off and got everything off in one question and one answer. So I thank you. Our time is a little bit short.
But we got to say one thing, Don. Before you go, we got to say Tucker Carlson is racist. Tucker Carlson is racist. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, wait, and Bakari, let me tell you something. You talked about Stephen Miller at the beginning of the segment. You know, I don't want to name drop, but man, I was at the White House the other day, and guess who's got Stephen Miller's old office? Her name is Susan Rice, and she's one of us. And guess who is in Ivanka Trump's old office? Julie Rodriguez.
Who?
She is Cesar Chavez's
I love Julie.
Granddaughter.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. You go around there and you go around that White House and you see what America looks like. Well, you know, listen, we're here to stay. The good news is we come in peace, and we are American, and we love this country.
Well, Joe Biden promised that his administration and his cabinet and everyone that he hires or involved in government, that it will reflect the diversity of this country. And it looks like he is living up to that promise right now. Thank you both. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
The Terminator says, quote, "Screw your freedom."
Screw your freedom. 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 Screw your freedom.
Trump won the election. Among the suspects' possessions, this is real, a white privilege card. I want you to take a look at this. It's a fake white privilege credit card. Subtitle, "Trump's everything." The card holder, scot-free, with 2 T's. Scot-free is actually spelled with 1 T, but, you know, 2 T's on that card. That one piece of evidence, an insight into the man's state of mind, that he can get away with anything because of his skin color. His lawyer saying this to CNN. This was a guy.
Evidence of the man's state of mind. And now more than ever, you need to get your white privilege card, people. With the white population dwindling as quickly as it can, faster than imaginable, now is the time to get your white privilege card. Which Craig is giving away with any $10 donations or more, along with a Mox News media package, including a My Cock for President postcard, and Mox News stickers, and Mox News business cards, and all kinds of cool stuff. And your white privilege card. Hey, I'm trying to take a fucking dab here. I'm trying to take a dab here.
Who the fuck do you think you are talking to me like that? What are you trying to tell me right now? This is a state of emergency. This is a state of a fucking emergency, sir. The white race is being depopulated right fucking now. Your duty, your due diligence is you gotta go bang every fucking white person you see, no matter what. Don't let them fool you. Also, because it could be a man. But you have to impregnate every fucking goddamn woman out there. We gotta turn these numbers around. This is a serious problem. You hear me, sir? You need to get that goddamn pipe out of your fucking face, and you need to go put your dick into some fucking hot space. Baby, that's what I'm saying. You literally need to do this shit for America. And
Craig, did you get this fool a white privilege card yet? He obviously needs one. All right, so where were we? We were talking about, the Caucasian population dwindling. Is that what they were saying? White people. You know, the really weird thing is I've never seen those 2 Bakari sellers, and what's that other woman's name? Anna something. I'm pretty sure it's Anna something. I don't think I've ever seen them happier than talking about the white population dwindling. It's strange, right? Which I really don't care. I don't. It's not important to me. It's so strange how important it seems to be to people about this census thing and the demographics. I mean, who is that important to? Politicians, so that they know what the thing is that they need to say because the demographics are like this now. You know what? The news media, they have to adjust what it is they're saying because there's fewer white people listening and now there's more people of color listening, so now we need to adjust. Oh, I know, we need to get more people of color commentators. That will do it. I don't understand why this is important, you know, that there's fewer white people, that there's I really don't understand that. So if anybody can explain that to me, let me know. Hello, caller.
Good evening, it's Thomas. What's happening?
Hey, Thomas, I haven't heard from you for a while, man.
Shit, I haven't seen your pop-ups from on YouTube for a while.
We do this every night, Thomas. You should know that by now.
Yeah, shit. No, what I'm saying is I'm so into YouTube and I got my selection things I like to look at, but I haven't seen yours come up. Maybe it's just AI is just cluttered with stuff, and I get it like maybe 2 or 3 days later.
No, that's not what it is. They're shadow banning Mox News. A lot of our viewers say that they don't get a notification that there's a show coming on.
Okay, well, see, there's various shows. Don't feel alone.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, check this out. White privilege card.
Yeah.
It's pretty much now. You remember? Check this out. I don't know. You don't remember this, but anyway, you know James Brown had black and brown stamps out.
Oh yeah.
I'll send you. I'll send you. I'll send you an email of a copy of. He had black and brown stamps out back in I think it was like 65, 67, back in 1965, 67. Now that white privilege card, people might get them, but it's probably going to have about the same effect as the black and brown stamps did. Not everybody took it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, nobody's going to take a white privilege card. The whole point is, like I said when I began the show, you know, a big part of what I do is trying to get a smile on people's faces. Because I find me hilarious. I may not be as funny as I think. I'm probably not. But all of this, you know, this prop, this is about making people think something funny. Oh, it's funny. And I'll tell you something. If you don't think that's funny, you really don't have a sense of humor, which is really sad. Again, Mox News business card. Okay, unfair and biased. Mox News. It's fucking hilarious, man. It's fucking brilliant and hilarious. What?
If I'm looking at this is where I irk people who have no sense of humor. They don't realize that you can't take it. Everything's just not. It is not meant. Even some of the situations you think are serious are not to be taken serious. Those should be a goddamn nut. Okay, walking around when situations are obviously funny, not laughing at it or not being tickled by it. Now I saw the white privilege card, especially in your hand. I'm knowing you don't like damn. You got one of those things.
I got dozens of them.
Yeah, you know, give me one. Shit, you know, maybe a discount for me too. The white privilege card, you know.
No.
But anyway.
Yeah, no, we'll be happy to get you one out, Thomas. I'm not sure if we have your address or not, but we'd be happy to mail you one.
I'll take it to Lucky's.
Yeah.
I'll take it to Lucky's and I'll blow some heads. Man, Lucky's Market, man, next down there, man, I'll blow it. I'll probably have them laughing at that.
That's what I'm saying, see? Not only am I making people that are watching me laugh, I'm helping other people make people laugh. So it's like I've spread it, you know? It's like this continual thing. I like me. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, you know, see, people who created that.
Yeah, I understand a black man created it. I don't know if he's African or not, but a black man. Yeah, a black man came up with that. Originally, you had to send $10 to a black guy to get a white privilege card.
Hard. Oh man, I'm gonna get into a straight up knuckle up with the black people, but I mean the white people, they'll probably laugh at that shit. You know, it'd be a damn good discussion piece though.
I'm pretty sure that the black guy who came up with it is laughing pretty hard too. It's fucking hilarious. Have you seen this before? Did you see the video clip I just played? It says, you didn't see the video clip?
I just got.
Yeah, it says.
I just came on.
Oh, it says, okay. It says, white privilege card trumps everything. It says, member since birth, good through death. You know, and it says card holder scot free.
The card holder, hey, the card holder.
Yeah.
You know, that's the privilege you get. You got the card.
You're off scot free, buddy.
Hey, I'm gonna send you. I'll send you my address. Don't give it to the FBI, okay? I'll send you my address.
I'll tell you what. The FBI already has it, bud.
Man, look. If they know what somebody is, they'll find them. They'll find them. They're too busy doing other shit, you know, right now.
Yeah, they sure ought to be. Hey, how's your plants going? You have a rooftop garden, don't you? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, see, me and my experimental ass, okay, it's been through a few changes. I finally put it in the ground where it needs to be.
Yeah.
You have something very, 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 very wide for it. You know, you want the freedom for the roots. So I put it in the ground maybe 2 weeks ago because it was growing, but it was stunted yellowish, right?
Yeah.
So I put it in the ground, and I'm passing by this bad boy. It wants to grow into flowers now.
It's a bad girl, dude. Bad girl.
It wants to do its thing now. It wants, you know, it's the green is showing, and it actually wants to grow into. It's actually beginning to get that bud look.
Awesome.
And I think the bud, it'll probably start doing that sometime, maybe in the next month and a half or something like that.
Yeah. The light starts to change. The flowers start to come out.
Yeah. So, like I said, I know it's just been a long time, and I was experimenting like that. The next time I grow one, it's going to be a round base, or either going straight into the ground. Like I said, I had it on top of the roof. And like I said, the rat was eating my shit up.
Yeah.
So I said, let me take it down from there, and I put it over here. And the rat was eating my shit up. They'll eat stuff here, but they won't eat it up in the backyard. They don't mess with the backyard. I've got tomatoes, man, up the yang, right?
Right on.
I got to cut the grapes. I got grapes that growing.
Wow, cool. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, man. I'm to see what I'm doing. I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing. Most of the stuff I'm doing, I'm dehydrating and vacuum sealing my shit for the time that might be coming. You know what I'm saying?
You can do that with grapes. You can do that with grapes, huh? Don't they just become resins?
Yeah, turn into raisins.
Yeah.
I got some right now I haven't eaten. I did last year just as an experiment. They're still there. Once they dry up, you still got grapes that have raisins, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, raisins that grapes. So, I mean, that way, like I say, you still have the shit, because it gets, watching stuff rot, or giving everybody something that don't appreciate shit, you know, I'm not doing that. I give somebody some stuff. I got tomatoes up the gang there. I said I got all types of tomatoes.
Yeah.
I dehydrated them, and I got stuff stashed like this for a hard time. So I'm even going to stash some shit in various places outside in the home.
Yeah.
Shit here. I ain't gonna worry about nothing.
It's don't worry. You know, whatever happens, we'll get through it, dude. I mean, we always do.
Yeah, we'll get through it, but we have to prepare for it. See,
well, you don't have to look. You don't have to prepare for Armageddon because, number one, you really can't. Number two, you know, that's like this thing in the back of your mind that kind of like. I'm not saying that you can't prepare for it. I'm just saying it's something that some baggage you don't want to carry around all the time. You know, go ahead and get your shit ready and then.
Okay. Well, see, that's not my worry. What I'm saying is prep. Now, as far as the Armageddon, that's something different. What I'm saying is when you look at this, see, it's not a panic thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm built like this.
Yeah.
When you look at what has happened before, now you got this shit with the coronavirus, right?
Yeah, we haven't talked to you for a long time, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, see, you know, you got all this shit happening. They might switch the lights out. Anything can happen. Okay, with that, they can shut the water off. Anything can happen. I'm just saying, I'm just prepped for that. No, I don't have no, you know, Armageddon, whenever that happens, whatever that really, truly is. You know, hopefully I'm prepared for that food-wise. But if it's going to be, you know, because you listen to the news, you just never know what's going to happen from day to day. So you want to at least be able to, if you have to leave home, you can leave home. You know, you just want to have that stuff put in order. You know, you don't want to be caught in a situation where, well, I didn't think the shit was going to happen. And be like, damn, you know, like Predator. Like I said, you know,
Predator.
I'd rather have it and not need it,
yeah,
than to need it and not have it. You know, that's the whole thing right there. You know, so that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Too many people walk around. Too many people walk around not knowing. You mentioned something. Hell, they don't even believe the coronavirus, you know, situation that serious. It's not that serious, but what I'm saying is some don't believe it and some do believe it. And the ones that believe it, they're like panicky. The ones that do know about it and stuff like that, they're like, we know what it is. It's about as bad as colds, okay?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Exactly what it is. Okay. I do know that they're talking about it being very dangerous, and I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to say otherwise. But that's exactly what I was talking about. You're saying that some people are walking around right now scared out of their mind. And this thing where, if you're preparing for something, which I understand what you're saying about having. We have a 2-month water supply for 4 people. For 4 people, in bottled water. And we have rice and beans and all that stuff. So it's not like...
You got that.
Yeah.
You got that.
It's not like I'm not going to go hungry. I'm not going to fucking go hungry. Guarantee that.
Make sure you got... Yeah, lentil, man. Make sure you get some lentil, because lentil is a fast cooking. It's not a bean. It's actually a grain.
Yeah.
But it's a fast cooking. And you add that to rice, man. I mean, you love that stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Lentils are awesome. Yeah, lentils are awesome.
I'm just saying, have something. Have something so when the shit happens, I mean,
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like you said, I'm pointing out that people that are terrified by this plague, which, I think that you can be smart or not so smart and be equally terrified by this, because it's this never-ending
right thing to keep your immune system up, too. I mean, you might as well just walk around terrified. I mean, what is it like? It's kind of like it's like the body snatcher effect. It's like once everybody gets all these shots and you got your shot yet?
Maybe.
You weren't going to get it.
What's that?
You said you weren't going to get it.
I didn't get it, dude. I hate modern medicine. I hate having to do anything with it at all. And it's because they've lied to me. And I see, I see, my whole life they lied to me. My whole life they said that cannabis has 0 medicinal qualities. And all that time, they could have been helping so many people. And the only reason these incredibly smart medical people said marijuana, cannabis has 0 medicinal qualities, the only reason is so they could make money, okay? And that means they don't have our best interest at heart. These are basic logical points. This is why I do not want anything to do with modern medicine. In my opinion, what I see happening is they go, oh, well, you need to start taking this pill, right? And then you take that pill thinking, okay, this smart guy is trying to help me, and the next thing you have some kind of reaction from the pill, and now we need to switch you to this other pill, but you're going to have to take this second pill too to counter these things, and it's like, and it just progresses from there. That's what I've experienced, and that's what I see happening, and personally, I don't want to get sucked into that.
Right. See, now you do something like herbs or anything like that, and you get your mind right, next thing you know, you're healed, pretty much, Otherwise, depending on the pill, and the pilling what him said, you've got cancer. You walk what you do, you got cancer, now you got cancer. You didn't have cancer until he told you that, and you started believing that shit. So, I mean, it's kind of like that in most cases, too. Your mind
I believe, like, the best medical advice that I can give people is you're not eating enough cannabis, okay? And I mean that with my whole heart. This is the best medical advice I can give you. I'm not a medical expert, but from everything I know, you're not eating enough cannabis, okay? Because it's like this miracle thing that works in your body and helps to balance everything, your mind, your spirit, your humanity. It's amazing, and you're truly missing out. So I say again, you're not eating enough cannabis. Go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, I'm going to start eating some just for that kid. My brother might not make it. You told me to start eating something.
Hell yeah, I'm serious. I'm absolutely 110% serious about that.
Yeah. Well, you know something I found out, too. You know those, hollyhocks?
No.
You know hollyhocks, they grow wild.
Oh, no, I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Look it up. They're edible. There's a lot of weeds out there that are edible.
Oh, yeah, lots of stuff out there is edible.
A lot of medicine is right out there. People just don't give a damn. They just go to the doctor. They don't research. They know what weed is. They see weed.
Well,
they don't even. They say, well, we're all smoking. Okay, well,
look,
they have edibles.
when they have this, when they have this symptom or that symptom, they get afraid, and they're looking for someone who's supposed to know what they're, what this symptom and that symptom means. So we go to the smart people, and they understand these things. So hopefully, please, I can get some help. So it makes a lot of sense. Again, it doesn't matter if you're a smarter person or less smart person. It makes a lot of sense that we would turn to, and this is what I talk about when I say don't buy into the hyped up fear, because one of the reasons they want you so afraid is that in times of fear where you're not sure what to do, you turn to strong leadership. So when you have this experience of illness and you don't know what to do, you turn to strong leadership. And when I say you're not eating enough cannabis, what I mean is we've all heard the stories about someone who got cancer, right? And they tried all the drugs and the chemo and nothing worked. And then they, out of desperation, they started eating cannabis oil, whatever it was. And lo and behold, the cancer's gone, and they feel great. They got their life back. And you know what I always think? I always think, man, it's too bad you waited to get the cancer to start eating cannabis. You're not eating enough cannabis. How many times can I say?
Cannabis salad.
If you had eaten the cannabis in the first place, if it was the cannabis that made the cancer go away, if you were eating the cannabis in the first place, you probably never would have got it. This is what I'm saying. Okay? And this is just basic logic. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. But I've seen these stories about someone who had cancer, and all of a sudden they used the cannabis after all the other treatments. In desperation, they turned to this herb, this flower, and all of a sudden they're better. And all the doctors know about it. They're smart, they're educated. This is their field, medicine, right? They know this. They need you sick. If you're not sick, they can't make money off you. What?
Even when you see the plant, they have a very, what you call, home vibe to it. You see the plant itself growing, You know what home is.
I don't know. I don't know how to pick that up.
Meditational.
Hold on, Thomas.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. Let's see. Hello?
Up in the dictionary?
No, I had another call, but I don't know how to pick it up. Craig wanted to say something to you, but I don't know how to pick up the other call. I can't. Craig is the person who answers the phone. He's my roommate.
Oh, okay.
He helps out a lot with this show. He doesn't get enough thanks for it. Thank you, Craig.
Tell me to get off the day. What?
No, I think he wanted to talk to you about whatever. He's a very smart guy. So
switch me over to him.
I don't know how. You'll have to call back. He's the one who answers the phone. So just call back,
I'll do that.
And he'll get your address to send you a white privilege card too.
I'll do that.
All right. Hey Thomas, it's great to hear from you, man. Listen, we do the show. We do the show Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And
well, I'll just punch it up. I'll just punch it up on the computer if it doesn't show.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, we do it. I don't know how to pick that up. Okay, let me try one more time. Hold on. Let's see. I don't know. See what you did? Okay. What happened? I don't know. Nope. Hello? Hello? Are you there? Hello? 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 You there?
Yeah.
What's happening? Okay. All right, Thomas. So, what's going on? I didn't mean to talk over you all that time. I just, I get these thoughts, and like with the, you're not eating enough cannabis. I forgot to add in the part about the cancer and all that. So, is there something else you want to talk about?
Like I said, it's organic. I mean, if that's what you got to do over me, I wait for a minute. I say something's wrong, whatever the case may be. You get back on the phone.
Right on. Well, like I said, it's really good to hear from you, man. And
yeah, good to hear from you too.
Every Monday through Friday. So. and I always enjoy hearing from you. So, was there something else you want to talk about?
No, I was just this thing about the when you had the show with Don Lemon. Which I don't really watch these guys. Don Lemon, I heard the name, and the black guy on the side, and said something real asinine. But it was no harm. But it's like I heard it, and I knew that wasn't necessary for the idiot to say. But see, that's Fox News. See, they're like that. They were Democratic in 2016. Now they're like Republican, and slightly Democratic. So it's like people don't notice that. I'm like, you guys, I come over to your house and I see you guys watching this when you guys wanted somebody else here other than Trump. Okay, now that Trump is gone and it's Democratic pretty much, you're like still watching Fox. I'm like, this is kind of crazy,
Well, it's like you said, they're slanted this way or slanted that way. They're not really
Right.
Democratic or Republican. They're just slightly slanted that way. The truth is they're all this kind of saying the same thing. They're just talking to
Right.
different audiences, so they say
Right.
it a little bit differently. And they have a little bit
Yeah.
different kind of, news people, reporters,
Yeah,
journalists,
entertainment
prostitutes,
Yeah.
news
Okay,
mom.
I'm gonna talk to you later. I'm gonna go ahead and.
I sure hope so,
I'll talk to
because
you guys.
I'll tell you something, man. I kept thinking, did I do something wrong when I was talking to him? Because I do that a
No.
lot with people. So
I didn't get it because, like I say, my news outlet is YouTube. I don't watch. I haven't had a television since what, '95. I'm not into. Never was into television because I figured it out a long time ago.
yeah,
I did more reading than anything. But then when computer came out, I really didn't get into YouTube until like maybe about 20 years ago. And then I started liking it because I started getting perspectives, organic perspectives other than programmed news. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is cool because I got choices. I can hear people cursing and raising hell. I can do all that kind of stuff. And then I find dude over there talk about weed. I'm cool. So this is where I go. I go YouTube. So like I said, I've seen it a couple of times, and I went in and I was going to do something else, but I will look for the show.
okay, man. Well, like I said, I have been missing you, so I'll be looking forward to hearing from you again real soon.
All right. Don't call back and call the cat.
Okay, stay cool, man. See ya. That was Thomas. He has a garden going. Do we have another caller? Okay, I'm gonna play a video of what? Not that one. Not that one. Wait, that one? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. The last video was about that. What Thomas was saying about the Bakari Sellers and Don Lemon. Let's see. We have Russian interference in our elections, in our midterm elections. I know. I was telling you that there was a story about Israel having to declare how many nuclear weapons it has. I believe that's what they're talking about. Now, I looked through 6, 7, 8 hours of Israeli news trying to find this clip. I found it in 1.5 hour segment. It's 6 minutes long. It's not a half hour. 1.5 hour segment in which it was like buried, just after the middle of it. And in this particular segment, there's these little green lines that come through the video. And that happens on the Israeli news, 5% of the time or something. But I found it really interesting that it only happened on this one particular half hour of news. The other 6, 7, 8 hours of Israeli news that I looked through didn't have the green lines. So anyways, I'm going to play that story about Israel must declare its nuclear weapons. I believe that's what the story is about. So I thought you might be interested in that.
Welcome back. Let's move now to an op-ed piece published in the New York Times by Peter Baynard, where he argues that the United States and Israel should be transparent when it comes to the truth about Israel's nuclear position. Baynard writes that feigning ignorance about Israeli nuclear weapons makes a mockery of America's efforts at non-proliferation, adding, that while the Biden administration continues to impose punishing sanctions on Iran to force its government to accept inspections far tougher than those required by the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, Israel, which has never signed the NPT, allows no inspections at all. And let's now bring in Dr. Michael Oren. Doctor, thank you so very much for coming on. Firstly, I'd like to get your opinion, your take on this op-ed. What did you make of it?
Well, good evening. Good to be with you. Well, I've known Peter Beinart for many, many years. I worked with him on the New Republic. Peter made a decision about 15 years ago that the way to save his career, which was going downhill, was to attack Israel. And he attacks Israel relentlessly. And he has to keep on ramping it up. He started by calling for a boycott of settlements in Judea and Samaria. Then he called for basically admitting all Palestinian refugees back to Israel, which would destroy Israel demographically. Now he's calling for Israel to go public with its nuclear program and making a comparison between Israel's nuclear program and that of Iran, which is pretty much as low as you can get. Iran systematically lied about its nuclear program as a signatory to the NPT for 30 years. Iran is a country that seeks to destroy another country. Israel does not. Iran, the Jewish people have experienced the Holocaust. Iran denies that Holocaust and wants to perpetrate another Holocaust against the Jewish people. Israel is probably the world's largest victim of terror, largest target of terror. Iran is the world's largest state sponsor of terror. I think making that comparison between Israel's nuclear program and Iran is morally corrupt.
So taking all of that into account, though, why isn't Israel being transparent when it comes to its nuclear facilities?
Israel's position has been now for about 60 years that Israel will not be the first country to introduce nuclear weapons into the Middle East. That is Israel's official position. I'm no longer an Israeli official, but that is my position as well. And it will remain as such. And Israel has a right to defend itself. Israel is the only country really in the world whose existence is challenged every day, which has fought off successive efforts to destroy it. And again, it's a country that emerged out of the ashes of the Holocaust. We know what genocide is. And we have every reason, every ability, every justification to defend ourselves, frankly, by any means. Having said all that, Israel will not be, and I say this with full authority, will not be the first country in the Middle East to introduce nuclear weapons to the region.
So if there is a model here that, that says that there will be inspectors that need to go and look at these nuclear facilities, why isn't Israel forced to undergo inspections such as Iran does? Isn't this a glaring double standard at play?
There should be a double standard. Again, Iran is the world's largest state sponsor of terror. Iran seeks to wipe another country off the map, precisely this country. Iran has systematically lied about its nuclear program for years. We now know from information obtained by the Mossad from an archive in Tehran that Iran has also lied about its efforts to create a nuclear warhead. Yes, of course it should have stricter inspections. It should have stricter inspections than any other country in the world. Iran is a danger, not just to Israel, it's a danger to the Middle East and the entire world. Of course it should have stricter inspections.
But Dr. Oren, I'm asking, here, why doesn't Israel have inspections as well? If it's got nothing to hide, why doesn't it have inspections?
Israel doesn't need inspection. Israel has a nuclear reactor that produces nuclear energy. There were inspections throughout the 1960s. Didn't find anything. Israel will not be the first country to introduce nuclear weapons to the Middle East, period. So nothing to inspect. Iran signed the NPT. A number of Middle Eastern countries signed the NPT, including Iraq and Syria. And guess what? They systematically lied too.
All right. We are seeing these, world powers pushing Iran to adhere to the JCPOA. It doesn't really look like it's getting very far, especially since Raisi has taken power. Tell me, do you believe world powers are doing enough to ensure that Iran doesn't acquire a nuclear weapon?
No, they're of course not doing it enough. And Israel would like to see the world community doing much, much more. For example, stopping Iran's development of more advanced centrifuges that can enrich uranium at 4 or 6 times the rate of those that Iran possessed during the time of the signing of the nuclear accord in 2015. The world is doing nothing to stop Iran's development of intercontinental ballistic missiles that can now reach Central Europe, will reach the United States eastern seaboard within a decade. The World Committee is doing nothing to stop Iran's development of a nuclear warhead, and the world is doing very little to stop Iran's enrichment of uranium to near fissile military grade.
All right, Dr. Michael Oren there, thank you so much for your time this evening.
Pleasure.
Okay, so let's see. What was I saying? Ah, yes. You can't mask my cock. So I'm thinking maybe, if we ran a presidential campaign, if my cock ran a presidential campaign on the basis of freedom and the coronavirus lockdowns and and mandatory this and mandatory that, and it was just like a mock campaign. My cock for president. You can't mask my cock. How long do you think it would take before they kicked us off of YouTube? Because I'd love to run a mock campaign. I would need a writer or two. I'm funny, but I'm especially funny when I have a little bit of help, someone to bounce ideas off. Although I tend to get very little respect. I don't know why. I don't get any respect. I tell you. Where were we? Okay, I thought that was a really good story because, we don't hear people talking about Israeli nuclear weapons a whole lot. And again, I think it's like this big giant story. It was an important piece in the New York Times, apparently. And you would think that American mainstream media would go, nuclear weapons in the Middle East. They say, New York Times says, New York Times, people, this is the #1. So, but I didn't see anything except for on the Israeli news, and this one little half-hour segment of the Israeli news. So you got the green lines. That's all I could do. That's the best they gave me. Let's see. Oh, Department of Homeland Security has issued a terror watch. In case you aren't afraid enough already. I'm sorry. In case you aren't afraid enough already, the Department of Homeland Security has issued a new terror watch about terror what now? Terror warning about online security threats. Oh, and Russia is tampering with our elections again, which I thought you should know about. Hello, caller.
Hey, I was laying down listening to that clip, man. That was a pretty fucking awesome clip. I mean, the way that Israeli spokesman talks is the perfect exemplar of Hasbara. Hasbara is a word which means it's an Israeli word that means propaganda, Jewish Israeli propaganda. So that was complete Hasbara. It's like they're the bad guys. They're developing weapons that could reach Europe very soon. Another 10 years, they'll be able to blow up everything. And he doesn't even answer the questions asked to him. He just distracts from it. It's like, how come you haven't shown anybody your nuclear weapons? We're not going to be the one to introduce nuclear weapons to the Middle East. It's like talking to a retard, basically. But he's not retarded. He's just distracted.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with talking to people who have issues. Okay? He's like talking to a piece of shit. That's what, if you were sitting there talking to a piece of shit, dog shit, sitting on the fucking ground, it would probably give you more intelligent responses than that person. Is that what you're trying to say?
That's another way to put it. I don't mean to, I'm not dissing mentally disabled people, but it's like, God, such propaganda.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting clip, considering nobody else is talking about this fucking amazing story.
Do you happen to have it separately posted on your website?
I haven't posted it yet. I can.
Oh, cool, because I'm going to save that one. It's such a classic example of Hasbro. It's just amazing, amazing linguistics. He never answers anything, and then he immediately points the fingers at people that don't have nuclear weapons. They're the largest sponsor of state terror on the planet. And they've been doing that for decades, man. They blow up people, and then they say, those are really the most horrible people in existence. At least they used to exist, but, you know.
They're putting us all in danger with their slingshots and rocks, man. Can't you see the truth?
And kites. They're attacking us with kites, you know. It's just, it's what I call in my life a flip trip. When someone comes up to me and I say, hey, man, you just banged your car into my car. Look at that dent there. And then they start flipping stuff back onto you. Well, you know, you should have parked there. You know, it wasn't me. You know, they flip it back onto you. It was a classic flip trip. I didn't see the guy's face because I was laying down just listening, but I can imagine what he looks like. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. He's just a knob, you know, like all these other fucking knobs. You know, how come every fucking piece of shit male news model, news broadcaster, prostitute, every male news prostitute, how come they all have the same exact fucking haircut? Can anybody answer that question to me? Answer that question for me.
Conformity, man. Image building. You know, they're trying to brand. They're fitting into a group of people, and they're trying to brand themselves as acceptable and intelligent.
I'm trying to understand, because, you know, your haircut's not going to make you more intelligent.
Yeah, well, in today's superficial world, the way you look matters a lot to superficial people. To real human beings, it really doesn't matter. I don't judge people on the way they look. I judge people on what they do. So, I mean, people think I'm incredibly, I don't even look that funny. It's just that I probably walk around with a scowl on my face a lot, you know.
Dude, you fucking call my show and threaten to shoot people. Okay, so they look at you cross-eyed, maybe there's a reason.
It wasn't me, man. That wasn't me, Mike. You made me do that.
Yeah.
No. I mean, you know, actually, I'm like a little bunny rabbit in real life. I'm just like gentle and sweet, but you know, I'm going to start calling, you know, people Dunning-Kruger. Dunning-Kruger effect is when a person thinks they're really smart, but they're really an idiot, and so, oh, this is my friend James Dunning-Kruger. You know, it sounds really respectable, and you have 3 names. He comes from royalty in Denmark. You know, James Dunning-Kruger. But Dunning-Kruger is actually the name for a mental disease, you know. So it's crazy what these Israeli spokesmen, the lengths they will go to not take responsibility for anything. So yeah, he didn't answer one single question. I heard the lady, whoever she was, come back at him like 5 times, and he didn't answer one. You know, we rose from the ashes of the Holocaust. That was one of his answers. We're the youngest country on earth. That was another one of his answers. We're not going to be the one who introduced nuclear weapons into the Middle East. Well, guess what? You've got more than 200 nuclear weapons in the Middle East right now, and you've probably got a whole bunch pointed at the capitals of every country in Europe. You know, so, you know, you could say all you want, but we know, the people who know, we know that you've started a lot of shit around the world, and you're draining the wealth of you've been draining the wealth of the United States for many, many, many decades, including training our police. We don't want you training our police. We don't want if you're going to be a country, you should treat the citizens of your country equally. Because what's going on in Israel is 10 times worse than what went on in South Africa. It is horrific. It's a horror. And well, we're the best friend America has. We're the only democracy in the Middle East, except for all the different subgroups, Palestinians included, that don't have equal rights. So it's a horror show. These are skilled liars.
Yeah, I always say Israel is the largest troupe of crisis actors on the planet.
That's a good one. I'm going to use that one, man. But you got to include some Jewish people in that.
Yeah, I don't have to do that. All that does is kind of dilute my message.
Well, you can say supporters of Israel are the largest.
No, I don't have to do that, okay? Because the supporters of Israel aren't running for bomb shelters, okay? What I'm saying is there's fucking kites coming in, and we all have to run for fucking bomb shelters. Is the country of Israel is the largest troupe of crisis actors on the planet. No fucking extension from there. It's not needed.
Yeah, well, if you're going to specify concerning Iron Dome and all the people running for shelter, yeah, okay, I can dig that. I wrote this symphony called Palestine Symphony, and I posted it on Facebook about 7 years ago to this local Ojai music page, and this lady came on and started talking about terror tunnels and this and that. And it was like, and I had to respond to her, hey, this is a music page. We're not talking politics here, She didn't like it. And so, it was like, I can't make a music video without you talking about terror tunnels, It's like, wow. And I tried to join these groups around here, at least I tried. I can't remember the name of them, but it's people that have been picked on or are against xenophobia or something like that, and they wouldn't let me in there. Apparently they think I'm, anti-sublimic or something like that. So it's a weird world where the perpetrator poses as the victim and then points the finger at the victim and demonizes them. And boy, that is a psychologically disturbing, and it's a cruel place to be in when you've already been victimized and then they're demonizing you. It's like, whoa, man. That's why I stick up for the underdog, because usually the person pointing, that old saying, if you point your finger at somebody else, you got 3 of them pointing back at you. That's Israel, Israel's the ugly monster with 10 fingers, 9 of them pointing back at itself. So you can't. Yeah, that was an excellent clip, and I'm definitely going to save that clip.
Cool. Well, I'll post it. I'll post it later tonight.
All right, cool, man. Well, have a good weekend, Michael. Is it hot up there?
It's 98 degrees today.
Yeah. Oh man, that's nothing. You ain't even sweating till it's at least 119, dude. So yeah.
Hey, we don't have fucking air conditioning here, man.
Yeah, I heard it when I first tuned in. But you're cool, man. Okay. Take care, brother.
All right. See you later. All right. So that's Mike from Southern California. And this is Call and Show, just to remind you, in case you were new. The number is 805-669-6397, 805 Mox News. We're trying to start a conversation, trying to give away white privilege cards, because everybody needs a white privilege card in their wallet. If I do say so myself.
That Trump won the election. Among the suspects' possessions, this is real, a white privilege card. I want you to take a look at this. It's a fake white privilege credit card. Subtitle, Trump's everything. The card holder, scot-free, with 2 T's. Scot-free is actually spelled with 1 T, but 2 T's on that card. That one piece of evidence, an insight into the man's state of mind, that he can get away with anything because of his skin color.
All right, so that's probably the most important reason to have your own white privilege card, is because it's a piece of evidence as to your state of mind. And you just heard Thomas call a minute ago, and he was like, oh man, I gotta get me one of those. What's up, Jay?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, you hear me?
Yes.
Is this the host?
Yes.
Oh, how are you?
What now?
Wait, is this the host or no?
Yes.
Alright, am I on the show right now?
Maybe. What is it?
So, easy.
Come on, what's on your mind? Come on. What are you doing? Are you new to the show? What's happening? What's your name?
Oh, yes, I am new to the show.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is Juan.
Juan.
Gonzalez.
Hey, Juan, it's good to hear from you. Thanks for calling. What's going on?
You know the thing that like goes around and stuff. It's like how you twist it and the thing, our construction, but then also the thing it can also go around stuff, like it's like very revolving and stuff, but
I don't know what he said. Did he say something bad? I was trying to follow it. It seemed to be like he was saying something, but I couldn't hear what he's saying. Anybody know what he was saying? I was just wondering, because if he said something stupid, I mean, obviously stupid, apparently stupid, I couldn't understand it. That doesn't mean it was stupid. Maybe he was nervous. Maybe I was a little rough at the beginning. He sounded nervous, but I could not understand what he was saying. So if he said something stupid, it wasn't me. It wasn't my idea. Wait now. Wait for it. I don't know. Okay, so I turned down the fan, so hopefully it's not as loud as it was before. I know it's not as, in fact, I know it's not as loud as it was before. I am going to get ready to play another clip. If anybody wants to call, the number's right there on the screen. It's 805-669-6397. 805 Mox News. Let's see. It is Dabs for Donations Friday, which means if you give a donation, I will do a dab in your honor, because it's so generous of you that I would like to somehow give something back besides just a show, to let you know that I personally appreciate it. I'll do one for you. And it'd be my honor to do that. And the thing is that here, coming up on Monday, I will have a special announcement about the future of the Mox News live stream. So Monday, you're going to want to set your calendar and tune in, because big news on the horizon. What the heck is that? Oh, that's me. All right. Where were we? Ah, yes, I have videos to play. Apparently, the last video I played was excellent. That's what I heard. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was interesting. I don't know how good a video it was, but I thought it was interesting. And I'll post it later, a little later tonight, in case you did miss it, because I thought it was interesting, and apparently so did other people. So, in case you missed it, I'll post it later. Let's see. Department of Homeland Security terror warning. We're gonna have to pay attention to that. Okay. If you're not afraid enough already, we're going to have like 7 million more reasons why you should be terrified every single second of every single day, no matter where you are. Russia is tampering with our elections, people. Don't you understand what that means? These people think you're so fucking stupid. That's what it means. And I despise them for it. And I think so much more of you than that. And I actually talk to people, you know. So, but I you know, it's like Michael used this word that was derogatory about, you know, people who need help mentally, I don't know, challenged people. And I was saying, you know, whoa. See, because I see inside everybody, I see something, I see a light, you know, and maybe no one's ever kind of reached out and tried to turn that light on before. And you want to give everybody that opportunity. At least I do. So that's why it's a call-in show, right? If you'd like to call, the number's right there on the screen, 805-669-6397, because I think we might be able to have a very interesting conversation. Does anybody know what that last guy said? I don't see anything. All right, so let's see. Election interference, terror warning. I think the terror warning is probably the one we should do. Booster shots for immune compromised people. So it's coming. It's on that slippery slope, so you know. And it's never gonna end, so you know. Kids back to school. I think that's a really important story. I'll play it for you in a minute. White population. We played that one already. White population dwindling. Those people look so happy in that clip. So I think we'll do the Department of Homeland Security terror warning, because this is something you all need to know about. I know that you are not terrified enough already. So we need to introduce something more. And you should know, again, a lot of these people online are terrorists. If you just listen to what they're saying, they're terrorists. Not us who are telling you day in, every single moment of every single day, of every single week, of every single month, of every single year, that you have to be afraid. You need to be so afraid right now. I'm so scared right now. The white population is dwindling. What am I going to do? Take a breath and stop listening to assholes who are paid to spread fear as if they're some kind of source of information that you can actually use, because the only information they really have is that you need to be terrified. And part of the reason that I posted all these clips, right? I used to work, like I said, in the past. I mentioned that I worked for 2 of Time Magazine's top 10 most important blogs, news blogs on the internet. And at the time, I was posting a lot of news stories, right? I mean, this is how the people found me. Everybody knew about what I was doing on YouTube. So they came to me, they said, you know, we want your help. And then I start doing what I do, right? And what I do is believe that there are intelligent people out there who can see a piece and go, oh my God, look at this fucking propaganda. You know, look at this piece where they're telling us all these lies for reasons we have to go to war in Iraq, right? And I post all these stories, and the manager, the owner of the blog, you know, which will remain unnamed for the moment, the time being, it's like, why are you posting all this Pentagon propaganda bullshit? And I was like, you know what they say about keeping your friends close? You know what they say about that? You need to know what these people are saying. You need to be able to see through the propaganda. You need to be able to have a conversation about it, which YouTube has completely shut down. I could still post news story after news story after news story. The problem is there won't be a proper conversation, right? I used to post news stories and they would get 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, tens of thousands of comments. And that's what Mox News was about. This is why I'm posting the Pentagon propaganda, so that all of us can have a discussion about it. So that all of us can go, yeah, that's like the stupidest piece of propaganda I've ever seen. Because if we can all come to the same page on that, then we can all probably come to the same page on the common enemy, on the real common enemy that we all have. The real threat to all of our freedom. The real and only singular threat to our freedom. The real threat that has chipped and chipped and chipped and chipped away at our freedom every chance they got. And it exists almost entirely in Washington, D.C. And it's the only real threat we have. The only threat to your freedom, the only threat to your children's freedom, the only threat to your children's future. Instead of spending $1 trillion in Afghanistan, instead of spending $1 trillion in Afghanistan, $2001. Instead of doing that, what could we have done for all the children of this country? You know? Because it seems like we have completely skewed priorities. It doesn't seem like that. It's obvious. And we're doing what Mike was talking about. Oh, those are the bad guys. We're not the bad guys. Those are the bad guys, right? We went into Afghanistan. We spent $1 trillion. I'm sorry, we did not do that. Our fucked up piece of shit war criminals in Washington, D.C. misled our country, our military, into Afghanistan, spending $1 trillion that could have gone to helping your children, our children's future, our children. I don't have any children, but there are children, and it's their future, and we're squandering it away on bullshit where now we're running out of Afghanistan with our tail between our legs because we couldn't defeat people living in mud huts and caves, according to George W. Bush. That's who we're fighting. People living in caves and mud huts. The Pentagon, the how many hundreds of trillions of dollars Pentagon, right? How many hundreds of, because it's clearly hundreds of trillions that they've spent. Not necessarily just since 2001, but, you know, these people are supposed to be protecting us. You know, our last arm of defense. Our first arm of defense. Our last arm of defense would be, you know, you and your Second Amendment. Our first arm of defense would be the military, right? And they did this thing in Afghanistan where they spent $1 trillion, and all it did was bolster the so-called enemy, right? And not just that, it's not all they did. I mean, you have to ask yourself, are they there to create terrorists? Is that why they're there? Is that why they didn't, you know, do nation building in order to transform Afghanistan into, you know, out of the Stone Ages? I don't think they're in the Stone Ages. I think they live the way they want their people to live, you know. I don't think they're in the Stone Ages. They do what they want. But we could have lifted them out of that place. We could have tried. They said, no nation building, you know, and then they guard the poppy fields and they kill a bunch of people and a bunch of our people get killed. $1 trillion, and now they're running out of there with their tail between their legs. The Taliban, our enemy, is more emboldened than ever, and they have so many weapons, so many extra weapons they never thought they'd have now. Everywhere there's bloodshed in the country, absolutely everywhere. It's just a bloodbath. It's just a river of blood, at least from what I'm hearing on the news. So this is what America did with the $1 trillion. They made the Pentagon look weak. They made our first line of defense look weak. With $1 trillion that could have been spent on your children's futures. Again, not just looking weak, making their futures less weak. You know, you prioritize this, and no matter what, you say this $1 trillion is for the children. How can we have a problem with that? You know. All right, so. And now, is there anyone in Afghanistan? You know, is there any citizens of Afghanistan that don't hate the United States? And probably rightfully so, right? I mean, there's a river of blood everywhere in Afghanistan, worse than the combat that was going on at the height of combat. From what I understand, is happening right now. You know, could be all bullshit, but that's what it looks like to me. And it's all the United States' fault. All the United States. I'd love to be able to pin it all on the douchebags in the Pentagon. And, well, it's pretty easy, really, to pin it on George W. Bush and Dick Cheney and their, 2001 9/11 event. Because it's really obvious that Afghanistan didn't have a whole lot to do with that. And it's really obvious that there was a whole lot of strange coincidence that happened right on that day that involved the military and, again, our first line of defense. So I think if we weren't brainwashed and lied to, and and that our leaders didn't have this never-ending thirst for war profiteering, making money off of killing people. If they didn't have that, then it would be easy to say that it's all of our fault. But I don't really think it is. I think it's the politicians up there, like Liz Cheney, who's profited off the events of 9/11, September 1st, 2001, in which the greatest terror attack ever on American soil. Liz Cheney has profiteered off of that more than any other member of Congress, sitting or dead. I guarantee it. So, and she's exactly the kind of people I'm talking about. She could stand up and say, no, this killing has to stop. This war profiteering is evil. This making money off of terror and despair and death is disgusting, and we don't want our country to be known for that. Every single member of Congress could do that, right? They don't. This is, when you're talking about, AOC is not like the others. Well, AOC needs to get up and say, America needs to be more than spreading death and despair around the world. Otherwise, she's part of the problem, and she is. So, and that's why they all have to go to prison, because they could all be making a difference. They could all be, they do these interviews again and again and again, and they're not saying America, the United States, is spreading death and despair everywhere around the globe. And they have the loud microphone. They should be bringing the attention to this. But they don't. So in knowing that that's who they are, Liz Cheney, Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, war profiteers, criminals committing crimes against humanity, murdering 1 million innocent Iraqis so they could make money. I don't think it's your fault. I don't think it's our fault. And it wouldn't bother me even more than it already does to say that it's our fault. It really wouldn't. But I don't think it is. I think it's these evil motherfuckers in Washington, D.C. that are never going to change. Unless, of course, like I keep saying, we put them all in prison forever, seizing all their assets. Imagine what a glorious day it would be to put Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney into a cell in Guantanamo Bay. I'm sorry, separate cells, very far away from each other. Well, not too far, just far enough to where they can hear the screams, each other's screams. I think that would be appropriate. Put them in prison. Imagine what a great day it would be to put them in prison in Guantanamo Bay and seize all their assets and leave their family name in disgrace and shame and penniless. Wouldn't that be an amazing day? Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, all of them in prison for the rest of their lives because they did nothing to stop these wars. They did nothing to stop the death and despair that the United States spreads everywhere it goes. And it's unfortunate. I don't want to be saying this about our government. I don't want to be saying this about our country. I want to talk about how America is the shiny beacon in the world, leading the world boldly into the 21st century. That's the country I want to talk about. That's the country I want to live in. I don't see our government giving us that opportunity. And anyone who does see our government acting as if America is the shiny beacon in the world, anyone who sees it that way, you're completely deluded. Okay? For whatever reason, you know, you're programming, oh, it's the greatest, whatever. The United States spreads death and despair around the world. That's what they do most. So, and it's so sad. It's so sad. And it's not just around the world. It's in our country too also. In our country, we have more people in prison than Russia and China combined. Why? Because they make a profit off of it. Again, this for-profit prison industrial complex, for-profit military industrial complex, for-profit medicinal medical industrial complex, for-profit medical industrial complex. The problem with these things, you know, is that the prison industrial complex for profit, in order for them to make a profit, they need prisoners. Okay, that shouldn't be what our country is about, is housing as many people in jail cells as possible to make some fucking douchebag money. The military industrial complex, they need wars. Right? They make money off of selling weapons. If they don't have weapons, if they don't have wars, they can't use up the weapons. If they don't use up the weapons, they don't need new weapons. Right? The for-profit military industrial complex has conflicting interests. They're not there to protect us, are they? They're there to make money. And the easiest way for them to make money is to make some kind of war, right? And in making these wars, going to Iraq based 100% on lies, murdering 1 million innocent people in your name with your tax dollars, how many terrorists do they create, right? How many people, want vengeance for you murdering their entire family, their mom, their sister, their father? How many people, their brothers, how many people want vengeance for that? They're creating terrorists. They're doing it on purpose. Why? Because they need war. They make profit off of it. Again, conflicting interest. They are not our first line of defense if they can't defeat people living in caves and mud huts And if they are our first line of defense and they can't defeat people living in caves and mud huts, then we're totally fucked, aren't we? So why don't we give up on this bullshit of spreading war and death and despair everywhere we go and have some better fucking priorities? What?
Hello, sir. I'm an astronomer, and I study the stars. Have you ever heard of this before in your life?
You mean like Britney Spears and Mel Gibson, stuff like that?
No, like the universe.
Oh, okay.
You know, Apollo, you know, things like that.
Apollo?
Have you ever seen that shit?
You mean Greek mythology?
Have you ever seen the sky?
You said Apollo, you mean Greek mythology?
No, like seriously, like stars and shit. Like, have you ever went out there in the universe?
Oh, by the
I've
way,
been there.
it is the Perseus meteor shower right now. So if you do have a spot that's not too contaminated by light and not too overcast, you can go out and see meteor showers going on right now on the planet, which is pretty.
Well, not right now.
Right
you gotta
now.
wait till
Right
like
now. Right now.
really late.
Right now.
Where I'm at currently, it's a lot of fucking. You gotta be a lot later to get them over here.
Yeah,
So,
but that's not necessarily, you know, true in
that
Japan.
is.
In Japan, is it?
I'm not in Japan.
Right. I said
I'm not in Japan. I'm not in China.
everything's not about you.
I'm in America.
How hard is that to figure out?
Who are you talking to?
Talking to you, bitch. Who you think I'm talking to?
Oh, I didn't know because literally you're freaking out for there for a second.
Not
I didn't know.
everything is about you. I'm not freaking
Well,
out.
I'm trying to make a
It's too
fucking
bad
point here.
you can't understand that moving forward in your life.
Really?
Uh-huh.
What fucking kind of sense does that make currently?
Makes sense that everything is not about you. There are some things that are actually more important than your little bitch ass.
I know. That's what I'm trying to call in, sir, and have a conversation about these issues
Uh-huh.
that are so terrible.
Uh-huh.
And so, can I explain?
I doubt it.
I can. And so, what I'm wondering is, we live here in our little country here in America on a floating rock.
It's not
In
floating.
the middle of the universe. It's floating, dude. It is
It's
floating
not
out there
floating.
in the middle of the universe.
Not floating. It's on a course.
floating.
It's moving very quickly on a very specific course.
Well, it's kind of floating. Technically speaking. If you want to get scientific there, we can. Because it's kind of floating there. It's not really resting on anything. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the floating rock theory currently. And so what I'm just saying is like, okay, we got this floating rock out there in the middle of the universe with all these other planets and stuff. With
It's
moons
not
and
a
things.
floating rock. It's a fucking paradise, dude. Okay, this is a very specific thing.
What's the problem with America?
Because you're comparing it to a rock, okay? There's all these other planets. No, there's all these other planets that are rocks. The moon is a rock. The Earth is a beautiful blue-green jewel with amazing plants and humans and all these things that are unique. So unique. So it's not this like other rock like all the other rocks. It's like 1 in a trillion rocks.
It's like a floating rock in the middle of the universe. It's very small.
Not really.
Compared to the universe.
Not
If you
really.
look down at it from like
I
a
don't
billion
think
miles
so.
away.
No.
Something like that.
No.
It's really small.
No. No.
You know?
No.
And I'm wondering why America is to blame for all the problems on the entire fucking planet. Actually, I wish somebody could give me some like real Huffington Post facts
Well,
about this?
because everywhere the United States goes, it seems to spread death and destruction. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, really.
Just in no other country has anything like that.
Well, no, France and Britain and, let's see, Australia.
How many countries are on the face of the earth?
I don't know, like, what is it, 170 or something?
Who gets a pass for, like, mass death?
Are you just, like, you're the one giving me a
just
pop
asking
quiz.
a
It's like,
simple
how many of
question.
this and who does that? And
Who
I'm not
fucking
here to
gets a
give you
pass
fucking
for
pass your
mass
little
death?
test. What?
Only America gets a pass for mass death? That's all we've ever done? We need to be destroyed over here in America?
I didn't say that. Our government needs to be
I
destroyed.
feel like it's kind of like
Our
America's
government
kind of like
needs
the
to be destroyed.
scapegoat. It's like
For who?
for all these other countries that
Which
have all
one?
this fucking mass
Name
death.
one. Name
It's
one.
like,
Go
oh,
ahead
just
and name
look
one.
at America.
Name one.
Look at what they've done. Just ignore what we've done.
Like, which other countries is that?
That's what America is doing like right now. Everybody in our own country just fucking hates each other. And it's like, oh my God, we're the fucking floating rock problem that's destroyed the planet here in America.
No, our
I mean,
government
seriously,
is.
people
Our
think that
government
way.
is the
Crazy.
problem. Our government is the problem.
And now it's the government.
They
that's the
hate
problem.
you. They're the ones spreading death and destruction, man. Keep up with it.
The government, or is it
Our government, the United States government.
Keep up. My government, it's your government, dude.
The United States government.
I don't know them.
Okay. All right.
Seriously, I mean, there's a lot of governments in the fucking world. They do crazy shit, bro. I feel kind of lucky to just. If I got a parking ticket, I could actually go talk to a judge and not get my head fucking
Yeah.
chopped off.
Why don't you go try and do that? See how well it works out for you. All right, I gotta go.
Dude, I gotta go. I love you.
Go. All right. I'm gonna play another video because I can't get any real callers. No offense. Let's see. Where were we? Did I play the DHS warning? Did I play that one? I was gonna play that one. I can't remember if I played that one or not. I gotta mark these when I play them. Kids back to school, booster shots, Russia, election interference. I'm gonna play the DHS terror warning again. If you're not afraid enough, right? If you're not living your life in constant fear and terror, you should know that the Department of Homeland Security is warning us that we're not afraid enough because there's more terrorist shit coming our way. Because people speaking out online are terrorists, landlord. People speaking out, they're going to, I don't know what the fuck they're going to do. Oh, they're going to do some terrorist shit, meteor shit, because you're obviously not afraid enough. And when I hear this, it seems to me that this is a setup, right? They're planting the seed in your mind that there are terrorists out there. And they might be living next door to you because they're domestic terrorists. They are a threat to all of us, to our American way of life. Truth, justice in the American way. Again, the only thing I see as a threat to truth and justice and whatever the American way is, which you would think truth and justice and freedom, right? The only threat I see to truth and justice and freedom is our government. Our government that makes so many new laws every year that no one can actually get justice and no one actually has freedom anymore. our government that, it just spreads despair everywhere. I want better for everyone, and I want to hold these people accountable, because the reason we don't have truth and justice anymore is not because of you, not because of me, and not because of fucking Iran, and not because of fucking China. The reason we don't have truth and justice is because our media outlets and our government don't want us to have truth, don't want us to have justice, because both of those things are very detrimental to their ways of life. They don't want us to have those things. What they want us to have is fear. All-consuming, never-ending fear. And the one thing I've said again and again and again and again and again, don't buy into the hyped up fear, because that's what they want most of all. So I'm going to play that video for you now and go heat up my tea, and I will be back momentarily. Thanks so much for tuning in.
With the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 terror attacks less than a month away, there's a new warning tonight about the threat of violence. CNN senior national security correspondent Alex Marquardt is working the story for us. Alex, what are you learning about with this new warning?
Well, Jim, this is a very disturbing bulletin from DHS. And what DHS usually does in these situations is essentially put out these bulletins to tell the American public the threats that they're watching out for, the terrorist threats. And they break down the types of terrorists into two potential categories: those who are inspired from groups abroad like Al-Qaeda, and those that have more of a domestic focus, that are fueled by grievances, that are anti-government or white extremists, for example. In that first group, they say that with the fast approaching anniversary of 9/11, the 20th anniversary, that Al-Qaeda could be looking to inspire potential attackers in the country. They note that Al-Qaeda has just put out their English language magazine, also called Inspire, for the first time in 4 years. And in that second category, they say that the health restrictions that have been imposed because of COVID, that could also fuel people to carry out some sort of attack. Again, these are people who are motivated by racial grievances. These are people who might have grievances with the government. And another target, they say, could be religious institutions. I want to read you part of that bulletin from DHS, which says, the reopening of institutions, including schools, as well as several dates of religious significance over the next few months, could also provide increased targets of opportunity for violence, though there are currently no credible or imminent threats identified to those locations. So, Jim, that's important. There are no known threats right now. Another thing that we have to talk about is the head of intelligence at DHS told our colleague Geneva Sands exclusively that a lot of the chatter that they are seeing in online forums is just like the chatter that they saw in the lead up to January 6th. It is not just, this is not just chatter that could lead to violence, but there has been an uptick in this kind of chatter. So it's doubly worrying. And there is a thread that runs through all of this chatter. It is the big lie, this perception, this belief, misguided, that Donald Trump had the election stolen from him last year.
Right, and there was all of this goofiness that he was going to be reinstated today. He is not being reinstated today, but it's a part of what's out there. Alex Marquardt, stand by, because we want to bring in on this discussion the former director of the National Counterintelligence and Security Center, Bill Evanina, is also with us. Bill, you're such a respected expert in this area, so thanks for joining us. This new terrorism bulletin that Alex was just talking about, it outlines a huge range of possible threats. But when you look at this, what concerns you most this evening, looking at this warning?
Well, thanks, Jim. Thanks for having me. I think there's a multifaceted aspect to these threats. I think DHS and FBI are doing the right thing by making the public aware of what they're seeing on the online forums. But as Alex pointed out, there's two different angles here, the foreign and domestic. I think we also have to be concerned with what Russia and China can do, primarily Russia, on online forums to stoke the arguments at both sides. We saw the Russian intelligence services do that in both of the last two election cycles, as well as during George Floyd and Black Lives Matter and the COVID and vaccines. So the Russian intelligence services can play a big role in what happens between now and September 11th.
And this comes as the Homeland Security Intelligence Chief says online calls for violence now are very similar to what they saw in the lead up to what happened on January 6th, the deadly insurrection. How do intelligence officials avoid repeating the same mistakes? Because we have heard anecdotes about signs that were missed.
It's very difficult, and my hat's being tipped here to all the members of law enforcement and intelligence community to do their best with the authorities they have to watch into the inner circles of chat rooms, but they can't watch online conversations from person to person. So they'll identify that, as well as look at external forces. What is Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab, the Russian intelligence services? How are they manipulating and amplifying domestic voices here in this argument? They're very good at taking both sides of the argument and inflaming those arguments, so there's a potential for violence in the middle.
And Alex, you also have new reporting on intelligence reports that show that Russia is trying to capitalize on this moment of American division. I guess it's new information, it's new reporting, but it seems like the old game on the part of the Russians.
That's exactly right. And it's exactly what Bill was talking about. It is Russia taking two sides of different issues and simply trying to divide us. The point is the chaos. The point is to undermine American democracy. So it is not the strategy that has changed. It is the tactics that have changed. It is the subjects that have arisen. January 6th, COVID, the vaccines, mask mandates, things like that. New things for the Russians to seize on and amplify that are already in our conversation. And we know that this has been noticed by the intelligence services, who are obviously analyzing and watching the Russians very carefully. And we know that it has concerned the administration so greatly and the intelligence community so greatly that this has been briefed to the president himself. In fact, he made a reference to this in a speech to the intelligence community very recently. Let's take a quick listen to that.
We don't have the sound of that.
Well,
but
essentially,
summarize it.
What he says is that it is a violation of our sovereignty, and he pointed to the fact that the Russians are not just doing this on a general basis, but they are also going after the elections in 2022. And of course, Jim, this comes on the heels not too long after that summit between the two presidents back in June, in which President Biden essentially told President Putin to knock it off. He's clearly not doing that.
He is not knocking it off, Bill. And you were in charge of briefing presidential candidates on threats to the 2020 election. What would you say to candidates now about what the Russians are up to? They won't cut it out.
Yeah, good point. And I think we have to be as transparent as possible at all angles. And I would say the intelligence community and law enforcement is going to continue to enhance the effectiveness of those transparencies, provide all the information that's viable for a potential candidate to see what that influence looks like, not only to their campaigns, but those inside their campaigns, and also the folks in their back home in their business entities, and what the social media template looks like against them as well as against their opponent.
All right, Bill Evanina, Alex Marquardt, thanks, gentlemen, to both of you. Have a good weekend. Appreciate all the insights and great information. Thanks so much. Just ahead.
All right, there's my Boo Bear. Hey, Boo Bear. Give me a kiss. You're my beautiful baby. All right, so let's see. We were talking about how afraid you should be right now, because it sounds to me like you're not nearly afraid enough. Not only, do we have the plague to worry about and to be terrified of, and not only do we have terrorists outside our country who are dying to get in and commit evil acts against us. Now we have domestic terrorists in our own backyards who can't wait to disrupt an election. And then there's the Russians. It's just like I keep saying, fear, 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 fear this, fear this, fear this, fear this. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. You have to do your best to not buy into any of the fear. Any of these people saying you need to be afraid of this, you need to be afraid of this, you need to be afraid of this. I would not trust them. And the reason I would not trust them is because, like I say, you are the upright walking opposable thumb tippy top of the food chain on this planet, and someone telling you, you need to be afraid, you need to be afraid, you need to be afraid of this and this and this and this and this. That person either doesn't understand who you are. Again, like, I don't know if I'm giving people too much credit, you know. I'm a very simple guy. That's the reason, like, this is the reason that I have done what, you know, posted 65,000 videos on YouTube, is because I wanted to have that discussion. The discussions that have been had on my post have been you know, priceless. So and that you know, no matter what else happens, no matter, you know, how much money I do or don't have, right? I haven't gotten any donations tonight. Donation Friday. I don't think I got any donations all week, which isn't on you. I'm not putting it on you. I'm just telling you, I don't do this for money. I've never done this for money. If it was about money, I would have stopped doing it a long time ago. There's got to be ways you can actually make money. I'm sure there's some ways. And I actually have brilliant people around me, so if making money was my priority, I'm sure we could work that out. Craig is constantly trying to get me to figure out how to make money. I'm horrible at it. And it's because it's not my priority. I always feel like if that becomes my priority, then I'm gonna get in this place where I'm not gonna post videos because I don't make any money. So, you know, I don't know. I've always just simply tried to do the right thing. And I have this great respect for you all. This is why I do what I do. This is why I talk about the conversations. This is why I put the phone number up there. Because I believe we could have a great conversation. Not only think we could have a great conversation, but I believe we could have a conversation worthy of other people being involved in the discussion. You know, maybe you and I could talk about something, and someone else would be listening, and they go, "Hey, I have some input on this," and then someone else, and we could have a fucking amazing discussion. And this is what, like I said, my work here on YouTube has been all about from day one. Is what do you guys think? And I never censored anybody. I can't say I never censored anybody, but pretty much. I mean, people would come in and say, you know, horrible racist things, right? And I would not censor them. And the reason that I wouldn't censor them is because I didn't need to. I think you all are intelligent, on the ball people who not only aren't going to be like, you know, somehow like you are hurt to the core by some racist fucking douchebag, right? I believe you're smart enough to be able to look at that and go, yeah, this guy, you know, what a little bitch, right? And not just that. What I believe is that it's important to know who that person is, who those kind of people are. Meaning that when someone comes in and they do some trollish thing in one of my videos, in the chat on one of my videos, which doesn't happen anymore, and it's not so much because we don't get proper views, although we don't, not like we used to. It's not just that, it's because half of the comments are censored, you know. So what's the point in making a comment if someone's just going to censor it? And I think that is a big part of what they're doing also, is they're making it so that people are like, why even try to have the discussion? We clearly can't. Why even try? So that's where we've come to. That's why we have a call-in show now, because I still respect who you are. I still think the important part of my work here on YouTube is the discussion that's created. And for whatever reason, we are having a trouble getting a discussion going. I mostly blame YouTube and their bullshit shadow banning, because as we heard from Thomas earlier, Jackie Cat has told us numerous times in the past that they don't get notified that we have a live show. They don't go, oh my gosh, you know, oh look, there's Mox News is live. They don't get that. They don't get that notification, and they don't get notifications of when I post videos, and on and on. That people get unsubscribed regularly that didn't mean to unsubscribe, that did not unsubscribe. They a couple of people have told me that it's happened 3-4 times to them. So that's what YouTube has become. That's what our culture has become. They don't, okay, again and again, I've said, you know, it's all about the discussion. You know, I've said, you know, we need that somehow somebody much smarter than me needs to figure out how we can have the biggest discussion that's ever happened on the planet. And because if, you know, me believing in you, and us all believing in each other, having this biggest discussion ever on the planet in the history of humans, I think we could really make something remarkable happen. It's just, even just the coming together and the talking would be something like has never happened on the planet, and is so needed, desperately, desperately needed. So whoever it is that, you know, knows how to make shit like that happen, I sure hope you're working on it. And that's what I've always done here, again, is to have the discussion, is to start the discussion, is to, you know, is to post things that are interesting and say, what do you think? You know, and that's what I'll continue to do until it becomes clear that I'm not going to be able to do it here on YouTube anymore. So we'll figure it out, hopefully, one of these days. So I have a video here about kids going back to school. I was talking about how terrifying that must be. Now, it's one thing to be an adult and to be, you know, the opposable thumb, upright, walking, tippy top of the food chain, right? It's one thing to be that. It's another thing to be a kid and everything kind of be overwhelming. Everything, you know, is kind of like, you know, there's stuff in the shadows. You know how kids are, you know, oh, there's a boogeyman in the closet, boogeyman under my bed, right? So when you have so many boogeymen out in the world already, and then you have to go to school, you know, this story is about that. So don't teach your kids to be afraid.
From the Delta variant to mask mandates, there is some extra anxiety for many kids heading back to school. Medical reporter Liz Bonas shares what counselors say can help students unload their concerns.
Hey there, everybody. Hello to you. You know, it used to be that we were worried about getting up too early or too much homework. Now counselors say kids heading back to school in this pandemic have a whole lot more on their minds. Long before kids get to school, counselors say the first way to whittle down worry is to lower their expectations.
It's a matter of just being adaptable and to not have a full expectation and having rigidity as to how this is going to be.
Dr. Jennifer Farley says when it comes to in-person learning, it's suggested before kids even show up to class, tell them flexibility this year is the key to survival.
We're going to plan for this, but if this happens, it's going to be completely okay.
And never, according to recent CDC data, do we need to let kids know it's going to be okay more than now. Emergency department visits for suspected suicide attempts earlier this year were more than 50% higher in teen girls compared to 2019. It was up 4% in boys. Late last year, hospitals across the country saw a 31% increase in 12 to 17-year-olds seeking help for mental health. There was a 24% increase in kids ages 5 to 11. The best way to avoid this crisis? Identify physiological changes.
Poor sleep if kids are really struggling with falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking up really early in the morning, we know that that's one biological sign of stress or even depression. If their appetite is down, so that can create a lot of, again, problems. We need everybody to be energized and everything else for school. The next thing would be looking at just what they share, what they're telling you, and what they're also not telling you.
So to summarize, she says any lingering change, always important to address. It can reduce the odds of something becoming a more serious concern. I'm medical reporter Liz Bonus. Now back to you.
Screw your freedom. 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 Screw your freedom.
All right. There's my Boo Bear laying down by the river. Hey, buddy. It's good to have you around. We really miss you when you're not here. He didn't get a walk today. He really wants a walk. It's like 1,000,000 degrees outside. I'm sorry, 98 degrees outside. So, but he's looking good. You are looking good, buddy. Let's see. So where are we? Oh yeah, I have one video left. So I'll play that momentarily. Again, I can't imagine what it's like to be a parent, right? That being said, I know some of the neighbors are, I talked to, like I said, I talked to everybody, and a couple of them have told me, a couple of the guys, the husbands, the fathers, they've told me that their wives are just fucking freaking out, terrified. And so if, you know, the parental whatever is freaking out and terrified, you know, even if they're not showing it to the kids are going to sense that, they're going to absorb that fear, and they're going to take that fear with them. And, you know, like I said, going to school the first day at school has got to be filled with anxiety. You know, it's got to be like, don't look at me funny, don't look at me funny, you know. So put that on top of this never-ending fear. And it's not just, you know, that you're, oh, mom's scared of something. I don't know what mom's scared of, but man, I'm picking up on it. It's not just that. It's that you have to wear a mask. You can't be around your friends without a mask. You can't do anything. You can't go outside. You can't play sports. You can't do anything without a mask. So if you're a kid and you can't do anything without mask, then it can't really be safe outside. There's something out there we have to be afraid of. Imagine how overwhelming this must be to children. They know there's something outside they have to be afraid of because they have to put the mask on. How horrible. I mean, it's like all of a sudden, you know, monsters are real. And your only protection from it is this mask right here. Have you ever seen Bird Box? It's a horrible, horrible movie. And you never get to see the monster, and I hate that. They used to make movies like that a lot more, but I was really, really disappointed. But it's this thing where this thing would come, the monster would come, and the only protection you had from the monster, right, was to put a blindfold over your eyes somehow, because if you saw the monster, you'd go like into this crazy hypnotic state and whatever. It's a stupid movie. That being said, you know, you have to have this blindfold over you because you're afraid. You live in constant terror. You got to put the blindfold on because then you don't even know what you're afraid of, right? The kids have to put this mask on to go outside, to go to school, to go play sports, to go to the restaurant, to go get ice cream. You know, and you have to wonder, I mean, what they're afraid of isn't visible, right? You can't see it. So is it like this monster, this terrifying monster for them, that's just looming out there, waiting for them to be vulnerable so it can attack and gobble them up, right? Imagine how terrifying that must be for kids, for moms. I imagine some moms see it exactly the same way. And dads, some dads too. It's not just moms that are, you know, heart-centered and concerned about their children. So I feel like, you know, we can't continue like this. I don't know what this is going to do to the children. You know, I worry about what 9/11 did to the kids, right? To the kids that were born, you know, just after 9/11, right? By the age or right around 9/11, right? And by the age that they're 10, right? They all get their laptops, you know, and there's all this information on the internet about September 11th, you know, and how our government lied and our government orchestrated this, and how, I mean, it's all over online, and truth and all these things. And I've always wondered what that must do to kids, you know, growing up knowing that the government is probably completely full of shit and absolutely spying on all of us and just committing death and spreading despair everywhere it goes in our names, you know, because I don't know, maybe kids are just playing Pokemon online, but I doubt it. I always wonder, you know, what that would do to the kids, right? Then you look at this, and you gotta think, you know, this is just an absolute fucking giant boogeyman out there. And what kind of, I mean, even if the kids aren't acting like, you know, they have this constant terror, you know, of the boogeyman. Oh, you gotta leave the light on, Mom, you gotta leave the light on. Right, the boogeyman. Now they know it's outside, and it wants to get them. They get told every single day that's what the truth is. What is this gonna do to them in the long run, right? This psychological trauma. What is that going to do to them? I don't know. I'm not a parent. I hope it doesn't do anything. I hope that those that are hurting because of it, you know, find something better. You know, find a better way than living their lives in fear and never-ending terror. Because that's not a good way to live. No one should live that way. In fact, there's no way for you to live up to your potential, right? Which again, this is what they're trying to do, is to limit us. This is their overall major big plan, right? The big plan is to limit human discussion, is to limit human evolution, right? To limit freedom of sharing information, to limit freedom. Again, coming back to that, the freedom, and this being the only way to really fulfill your true potential is with freedom, is for you to go, I'm going to move this way. Everybody else might be moving that way, but I'm going to go this way because I see something different. I see things differently. And that's what freedom is. And those people usually have more interesting lives and make more interesting things happen in the world. They may not make the most money, they may not have the most esteem, but the things they make happen in the world because they chose their own path, in general, are probably going to be more interesting. Probably going to be worthy of a story to be told, as opposed to being a clog in the machine, right? And I mean no disrespect to anyone. Everybody's got to have priorities, and I always say that. You know, a woman has got to have priorities, damn it. You're my beautiful baby, Boo Bear. He smells something. Okay, so I'm going to play our last video clip, and I will, and then I guess it's the day. I guess we'll call it a show. I thought this was also important because, again, we're talking this slippery slope which we are clearly now on, and they say, oh, well, these people need to get this, but you know, it's basically we're starting with these people. This isn't going to end, at least without a proper discussion that involves all of us instead of just the government-controlled media. That's why Mox News, in my mind, in my heart, has been important, because we allowed the discussion to happen. I allowed the discussion to happen. And that's one of the things they really don't want to happen. That's one of those things that that they're doing their best to impede. So, booster shots coming at you, baby. Coming soon to a neighborhood near you.
And we have some breaking news out of the CDC now, and a panel of CDC advisors now recommending some people who have weakened immune systems should get an additional or third COVID-19 vaccine dose. CNN chief medical correspondent Sanjay Gupta joins us now. How significant is this, Sanjay?
Well, it's significant because I think for people who've had these types of conditions, the concern has been for some time that they did not have the same level of protection from these vaccines and others, and they're more at risk because they have a weakened immune system. So that's been a problem. Pamela, as you know, we talked about this yesterday. If you are an immunocompromised person who received the vaccine versus someone with a healthy immune system who received the vaccine, the immunocompromised folks were almost 500 times more likely to end up in the hospital. So this was a population of people that they were talking about for some time. And if you look at hospitalizations overall and say, who are the COVID patients in the hospital, mostly unvaccinated, as we know, but as far as the vaccinated goes, they were more likely to be immunocompromised. You could see some of the statistics here in the data that they were looking at. They knew that, again, of the breakthrough infections, many of them were occurring in immunocompromised people. Lower vaccine effectiveness overall, given that so many more people were being hospitalized, and really trying to figure out how much the vaccine efficacy dropped for them versus the general population. You can see as low as 59% if you have an immune-compromised condition versus up to 94% protection in the general population. So for all these reasons, I think this is a big deal for them. A couple of specifics here because these come up. They did define a little bit more clearly what they're calling immunocompromised, moderate and severely immunocompromised. And if we have the list, we can put it up. But people who have had organ transplants, people who have recently or are currently taking chemotherapy for cancer, people who may take other types of medications which suppress their immune system. There's a whole list. And if you are immune compromised, you probably know it, but that list will be available so you can cross-check. But not things like heart disease and diabetes. Sometimes those are thought of as conditions that can compromise your immune system. But this committee said, no, that we're talking about severe or at least moderately severe immunocompromised.
So why wouldn't this include those people with heart disease or other issues that would lower the effectiveness of their immune system? And just to be clear, this doesn't impact people with autoimmune diseases, correct? Because I get that question a lot from viewers.
So, well, second question first. It may affect people with autoimmune disease if they are also on a class of medications that they've listed here. And if I don't know if we have it, but we can put it up. If not, it's going to be on our website. But types of steroids may lower your immune system. There are certain medications known as TNF blockers. Again, people who take these medications are going to know this very well, but they are told when they are prescribed these medications, oftentimes, as you point out, for autoimmune conditions, they are told that this medication will dampen your immune system. With autoimmune, the point is that your immune system may be overreacting, so you take medications to sort of slow down that reaction, but that may affect your ability to respond to the vaccine. So they may be included. As far as heart disease and diabetes, I think the way to look at it is this. Certainly that makes people more vulnerable, but what they're focusing on here is if someone had a weak enough immune system that they weren't generating antibodies in the first place to the first two shots, so they weren't generating enough antibodies, that's who they're really focused on. It's not to say that there aren't other vulnerable populations, either because of disease or age, as you well know, But at this time, they're saying this is who we're most concerned about, people who simply could not generate enough protection from the vaccine in the first place.
Okay, Sanjay, thank you so much. And thank you all for joining me. The news.
Screw your freedom. 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 Screw your freedom.
All right, so again, I think that's the proverbial slippery slope. We've seen this again and again. First, it starts with these people. That's how it began, with the elderly and the immune compromised. That's how the first shots began. So we're seeing that repeat itself. And then again, I want to talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger one more time, and that is that you know, when a billionaire is saying screw your freedom, again, he didn't say screw our freedom, did he? He didn't say screw our freedom, this is more important. He didn't say that, did he? He said screw your freedom. Fuck your freedom. Who the fuck told you you had freedom in the first place? Fuck your freedom. And that's what Schwarzenegger was saying.
Screw your freedom. 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 Screw you.
Right? He's not saying screw our freedom. He's not. I did not hear that. He's not saying screw my freedom. He's saying fuck your freedom. Again, because no one's going to take his freedom away from him. He's going to live his life the way he wants to live his life. That's what his $1 billion worth of, you know, whatever it is, dollar, cash, you know, whatever, gold, whatever the fuck he's got. He's got $1 billion, I'm pretty sure. Nobody's going to fuck with his freedom at all. But your freedom, fuck your freedom. That's what he's saying, people. He's saying, fuck your freedom. I would recommend that you never go to another Arnold Schwarzenegger movie for as long as you live.
Screw your freedom. 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 Screw.
Fuck your freedom. Again, I explained earlier that the word screw is a polite way of saying fuck. So what he's saying is fuck your freedom. Not his freedom, not our freedom, your freedom. Fuck Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm sorry, let me say it the polite way. Screw Arnold Schwarzenegger, okay? No more, zero clout, okay? Either you stand up for freedom or you are a big, serious, major part of the problem. Anybody you ever heard say, screw your freedom? Know damn well that person is a personal threat to you. So I don't know what the hell he's thinking, but I'm pretty sure that shouldn't go. What's really weird is that these people, is that, you know, the people on the news, the media, the prostitutes, they're all, oh, look at how bold Schwarzenegger is. He's like, yeah, fuck your freedom. We should all be proud of him. We should all listen to what he's saying. We should all follow suit. Fuck your freedom. Tell all your neighbors, fuck your freedom. I despise people who talk like that. And I hope that you do too. And I hope that Arnold Schwarzenegger gets a lot of fucking condemnation. Because, like I said, he didn't say our freedom. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about your freedom. All right, so we're all out of videos, unless you want me to play Arnold Schwarzenegger again. But I'm not going to anyways. We're all out of videos. I came here to take phone calls. Hello, caller. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
This is Nick.
What? Nick?
Yeah.
What's up, Nick?
How's it going?
Okay. What's up, Nick?
Is this Mox News?
Yes.
What's the topic?
You can't mask my cock.
Yeah, I don't agree that you can mask my cock either, you know, honestly.
You can't mask my cock. I'm telling you, many people have tried.
Who?
Lots.
The FEMA? Are they coming in yet? Dude, they're in my town giving out the vaccine.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about the vaccine. So
Oh,
what's going on, Nick? You got plans for the weekend, man?
Plans for the weekend? Yeah, man, just gonna have some drinks with the boys. Just hang out, live in this beautiful country.
Right on. That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually got that vaccine at the FEMA site, and it made me trans.
Well,
I'm starting to like.
I appreciate you getting the vaccine and such, Nick, but I don't want to talk about what it did or didn't make you do.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, we don't
It's
have
okay.
to talk about that.
It's okay. I just, you see people like Senator Rand Paul getting kicked off of YouTube, and I know that
Yeah, that's crazy.
they'd love to do it to everyone they can. So,
But we can talk about these big tech oligarchs, huh? And how they're ruining everything.
well, the Apple just created some new software, spyware that's like going to look at every single picture and every single video on your phone. They're going to know everything you have on your phone. Not that they don't
I know,
already.
I'm not into, the hash rates. They got the thing where they can just look through anyone's phone for the hash rates.
Hmm.
You know, they planned all this.
Yeah, I know.
Since the freaking Patriot Act, man. You know about COG?
About what?
Information in government?
Yeah.
About COG. Yeah, this stuff's crazy.
Right on. Are you familiar with the show? Have you called before?
No, I just saw that you can't mask my cock.
Yeah.
I totally agree, man. I had to call in about that. That was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much.
I like.
Go ahead.
You see, I was just saying you seem like a nice, pleasant guy. I'm like the Milwaukee tea you're rocking.
Right on. Milwaukee, is that where you're from?
No, I'm from Florida.
Oh. Well, what's the weather like in Florida?
I think we got a storm coming in.
Ah. That makes it cool down a little bit, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Fucking 98 degrees here, man. That's a serious scorcher for Seattle.
Oh man, in Seattle, yeah. But is Seattle more humid or is it?
Right now it is. There's a lot of water, so I would imagine I can't imagine anything being more humid than Florida, but it's more humid than California, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Florida, we're just a freaking swamp, man.
Yeah.
What do you make of this stuff going on in Miami? That building collapse. Do you think Florida's just a swamp? Do you think there's a lack of governance?
I think that there's some strange things going on there, and I'm not sure. It's like I say about September 11, 2001. I don't know exactly what happened on that day, but I'm pretty damn sure that the government's lying about it. So
definitely.
yeah.
You know, today I saw. Have you heard about the dancing Israelis?
Yeah.
Today I saw some. They managed to get a couple of pictures of them from FOIA that were photocopies of photocopies. These came out in 2019. That's pretty interesting if you haven't seen that before. But it's them. One of the pictures is them on that same rooftop that they reported on. On September 10th, there was a picture taken of him holding a lighter up to like the New York skyline.
Wow.
But yeah.
No, I haven't seen those,
now
but they do sound interesting for sure.
Oh yeah, I saw it for the first time yesterday or today. I was surprised.
Yeah, it would surprise me too. Because I've heard about that particular event many times, but I've never seen any actual evidence of it. So that would be very interesting to see.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that if anything, that's the most. There was just the eyewitness reports. Well, they were on like Israeli TV saying they were there.
I did not know that. I didn't have Israeli TV back in that day, so I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, now I can. I wasn't much of an adult back in that day, but now I'm able to sit through online and find these things.
Yeah, it's amazing all the information that are at our fingertips now. I really, what I find hard to understand is that
what's that?
Is that people these days seem like they're so bored, right? And they have like every single piece of art that's ever been created at their fingertips, and they're so bored, kind of blows my mind. Yeah.
Because they're overstimulated.
Oh, you think that's what it is? If they're not getting getting a constant adrenaline rush, they're so bored.
Oh, definitely. You know how it's just all this social media is made to just inject dopamine into you, and they're like researching the best ways to get people hooked. And it's just pure, just stimuli, just constant.
Yeah, I've heard
like
that
what
also.
TikTok is.
Yeah.
TikTok's a little bit of an ancient Chinese trick.
Smart.
You know what I mean?
It's very smart. It's definitely taken over.
Oh, definitely. But yeah. Anyways, man, what's new? I'm liking your picture right now. I got the Med card a couple weeks ago here in Florida.
Excellent. That's awesome, dude.
Part right here. The Maui Wowie.
Nice. When I was in high school, I got some Maui Wowie, which would have been 40 years ago plus, right? I got some Maui Wowie, and I had this little tiny bong that I kept under the seat of my truck, and it had this little tiny one-hitter bowl in it, right? And we're stuffing that one-hitter bowl and taking bong rips. And man, I'll tell you, at a certain point, it literally felt like my brain was drooling out my ears. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Maui Wowie. I highly recommend it, people.
Wow. That's pretty great.
So what?
I've had this one before.
So does that mean that you have dispensaries you can go to there?
There's plenty. There's actually a lot you can go to.
Excellent.
They have a pretty high profit margin. It's a little bit more expensive than like on the street.
Oh yeah, that will change with time. Trust me.
Oh yeah. But they have a lot of deals for that reason,
Yeah. Are you able to grow your own with your medical card?
I believe so. I haven't really looked into that. If I owned a house, I would do that. But, it's hard in a situation.
Yeah, when you're on someone else's property, it can be tricky for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, I really can say congratulations. I've had a medical card for 18 years now, and
let's go.
I tell people, when I grew up, I got my first gun when I was 9. I got my second gun. I got my first handgun when I was 10. By the age of 12, I was sleeping with the .357 Magnum under my pillow. And my dad had pit bulls and all kinds of stuff like that, right? And I was very, very well trained. And Nothing in my life has made me feel more safe and secure than having that little piece of paper that says I can have weed on me.
Oh, amazing. Exactly. What are you training for, if I may ask? Like a climate disaster? Like a,
Oh, when I was a kid, I was
robber?
my dad was a bomber pilot in Korea, and he killed a lot of people, and then he actually was undercover for the CIA after he got out of the war in Korea. He was a POW, and he broke out of the POW camp and got back to safety, and brought like 3 guys with him. And then he went on to work for the CIA doing reconnaissance. Like I said, he was a bomber pilot. He went on to work for the CIA doing reconnaissance missions over French Indonesia, which later became Vietnam. And then he went to work for the DEA and the FBI when he got domestic. And he was actually surveillance for the whole West Coast, the top surveillance guy for motorcycle gangs on the West Coast in the 1970s.
Oh, what a life.
Yeah. And it was completely undercover. Was that?
So like the Hells Angels and stuff like that. Did you ever read that Hunter S. Thompson book about the Hells Angels?
No, which one is that?
He went undercover with the Hells Angels, like your dad.
Yeah.
He wrote a book about it instead of trying to arrest them. But
yeah,
that's pretty interesting. I'm sure it's similar to what your father might have experienced.
Yeah. Well, he was a very interesting guy, but I think that he wanted to make sure. I mean, I was trained that if anybody breaks in the house at night, just to shoot dead center until the gun's empty. Like I said, .357 Magnum under my pillow. And then there's extra bullets in the nightstand next to me. So I was very well trained. I never liked those speed loader things, but you know, whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so I was ready for. I think, you know, like I said, in Korea, being a bomber pilot, I'm pretty sure he murdered like thousands of people, or he killed thousands of people, and that he never really got over that. You know. He used to talk about how crazy the guys were that were doing that stuff. He said that they would make 55-gallon drums of nitroglycerin, and they'd load it into the into the, you know, really unstable shit. They'd load it into this plane, which is basically a bucket of bolts, you know, just rattles up and down, and the whole time you're in it, and then they drop them over railway stations, he said. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Was he working with the CIA in Vietnam? Was he working with Air America?
I don't think so, but I don't know. We didn't talk a whole lot about that. He used to have these horrible nightmares, I think from the POW camp shit, and he would like scream in Korean. You know, and he swore that he didn't know a word of Korean, but he would scream. It was really kind of scary.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's heavy. Yeah, that's scary. Yeah.
So I was trained to be prepared for that shit. Now I don't have a gun. I don't want a gun. I don't want anything to do with the gun. Although, if you know, if there was like, let's say, some kind of a Russian invasion, I know the neighbors who have stockpiles of guns, and I can just go over there and say, hey, I need something. So, you know.
You say I've carried a .357 under my pillow since I was 12, so
yeah, well,
you know I'm the guy.
Yeah, well,
when that happens, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not worried that that's going to happen at all, 0%. So, although the people with the stockpiles of weapons seem to be kind of concerned about it.
Oh yeah. If some kind of disaster happens, in my view, I think the currencies are going to be seeds and bullets.
Yeah, and bitcoins.
Do you think Bitcoin? See, I've thought about that, but if there's like I thought about this a little bit. If there's like a climate emergency, right?
Mm-hmm.
How would there be electricity to conduct the hash rate?
Oh, well, that's a good question. I think people are pretty good at overcoming obstacles like that in particular. because electricity. It's not just a matter of we need it for the phones or whatever. There's going to be.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be a lot, like we need it for the fucking nuclear power plants to fucking not go into meltdown.
Yeah, like do you think when if Scorchers happens, we'll be able to be running the blockchain on like generators and stuff? That'd be very interesting, right?
Yeah.
Either way to hedge my bet. I got Bitcoin, I got silver and gold too.
Yeah. Well, those things, if the collapse happens, those things will be very good to have, because especially if you have like smaller, like if you have a bunch of silver dimes or silver quarters, I guess dollars will work too, because anything like it'd be really hard to do business with a Cougaran. If you want a can of fucking. If you want a can of peaches or something, it'd be really difficult to say, I got this piece of gold, I'll take 1,000 cans of peaches.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey, Nick, I gotta go, man. It's good to hear from you. I hope that we do the show every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So it'd be awesome. Right. It'd be awesome to hear from you again sometime in the not too distant future.
Definitely, man. I'll be back. Great talk.
All right. Thanks for calling. Talk to you soon.
All right. No problem. Good night.
You too. Okay, so I am ready to start the weekend, and it's just really hot in this room, so I want to go get in front of a fan. I turned the fan way down so that it didn't make too much background noise. Not that you appreciate it. 0 donations. It's cool. I don't. It doesn't. Like I keep saying, it's not a matter of great importance to me. I think it's very nice of you to show up. I'm very happy to spend time with you, and I'm very happy that you choose to spend your time with me. So, as I always say, it's always better when you're here. So that being said, we do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, which means we'll be back on Monday, same Mox time, same Mox channel. And until then, remember, one of these days, this war is gonna end. Stay cool till then.
I mean, this coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. I wish the coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am? You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
Screw your freedom. 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 Screw your...
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.